Give him the forecast.
Omega level threat detected.
Ancient sands, heed my command and reclaim these relics of hatred!
Viewer discretion is advised.
If you just know you're that girl,
Yeah.
you just have no choice but to be that girl. And I feel like I'm that girl.
What if you don't wake up feeling like that girl? How do you be that girl?
You need to go back to sleep and wake back up again so you can feel like that girl.
There you have it, child. That's why I feel like I'm the T. I feel like I'm the T because I work at being the T. Like, no shade. I'm not the T just because a bunch of bitches like me and live for me because we all homegirls. I'm the T because I'm the motherfucking T. And that's just sad. I mean, that's just what it is. People legit in the world love to live for foolishness. Love to live for foolishness. You love to live for your bald-head homegirl that just bald-head whole shit. It's clear that I'm working at being the C, so girl, let me be the C. Like, give me that. Give me my flowers.
My name is Donny Moon, aka Don the Dog, aka King Op, everybody's favorite op to beef with. And I'm from OKC and I'm here to do my thing. You will see me standing on business. Are you still 100 degrees, babe? You will see me working, actually working, and, you know, changing the narrative. That's what I do the best.
Yo, what up? It's your boy Donny Moon, aka Don the Dog, aka King Op, everybody's favorite op to beef with. I want to let y'all know about my single titled My Bop out now. Go watch the music video on YouTube and stream the song wherever you stream music. Thank you to anyone supporting me.
Hello, everyone. Hello. And hello. Okay. Welcome back to the channel. If you haven't had a chance to do so by now, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share, because we all know that sharing is caring, honey. Hello, gone. Also, tap that notification bell. That way you'll be updated each and every time I'm uploading something new, because there will be some things in the works. Okay. So please, if you don't want to miss nothing, honey, okay, tap the notification bell. Also, follow me on Instagram, where I'm very active. Hello, gone, at YB Speaks. All right. So, we are gathered here today, child, for the live review of Chasing Dollars, Season 6, Episode 11. There is one episode left. Hello, gone. The finale will be this week coming up. From what we hear, it's going to be explosive, child. Okay. And then the reunion short after. All right. Tonight's guest is obviously Donny Moonchild. He will be joining us shortly. Okay. We were both running a little bit behind. So he'll be joining us in a few minutes, which is perfect, because I definitely wanted to take this opportunity. Oh God, these lives, these interviews, these reviews, they do pretty well in numbers. So I am one of the believers that when you have a platform, when you know that you're going to get some viewership, it's time to take that opportunity and be socially responsible by, you know, standing on a soapbox, preaching some truth and justice. All right. We all know what is happening around the world. If you don't know what's happening, then girl, you are definitely, you know, Patrick to the bullshit living under a rock. We are right now, I feel like we're repeating history all over again. Shout out to the Bush administration, honey, hello, God, and his sorry ass father. You know, I don't want to do too much because, you know, when tensions are the way that they are, child, YouTube and other social media platforms like kind of come for you. Very choosy with my wording, all right? I stand with Iran. Hello, God, Iran. Okay? We all know, I have publicly spoken out about how I feel about Israel. And Benjamin Netanyahu, whatever his name is, your name's gonna be get the fuck up out of here. That's what your name's gonna be. his atrocities, his war crimes, hello God, his crimes against humanity, honey, hello God, as it relates to his treatment of the people in Palestine, okay? Hello God. And furthermore, provoking Iran, child, when they weren't messing with nobody. And now you screameth at the top of your lungs that they are hurting people in your great nation of Israel, right? Schools, public places where citizens reside, hospitals more specifically. But history will prove it, and shout out to history. And it's not too long ago that you were intentionally, hello God, utilizing your power to exterminate, to lay waste to a people that weren't bothering nobody. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I just want to let people know I stand with anybody that's defending themselves against the great evil. Yeah. Yeah. We have to recognize that the recent actions of the United States of these yet to be United States of America. Shout out to El Teddy, hello God. We have to recognize, when we have done wrong, and if this does not bring every article of impeachment that's needed, required, and desired to push for Donald Duck's impeachment, hello God, he has violated the UN Charter. He has violated, hello God, the process in which he was supposed to get congressional approval in order to move forward with his little surprise attack. Yeah. So this is what's needed, required, and desired. Go ahead. Let him do everything. History will remember. We will remember. The North remembers. Okay? Hello, God. Is there a raggedy bitch in the chat? Yeah, we don't have time for raggedy hoes. Can one of the moderators handle that for me, please? If you have a range by your name, you have the power. Okay? Delete them from this experience. Period. But anyway, I do think that it is socially responsible. People who have a platform, people who get viewership, and even if you don't, speaking out, hello God, speaking out loud and proud, child, against these great evils, these people that want to oppress other people for no other reason than power, glory, and absorbing other people's situations, girl, to make them more powerful. We do not live back in the olden days. It is a new day. It is 2025. And I think it's about time that people, especially people with great power, like these leaders, these so-called leaders, because I'm not seeing leadership qualities. I'm not seeing something that represents my interest as a human being who wants to live free and in peace. I'm seeing examples of people that are abusing their power to meet whatever ends, child, they need, require, and desire. Okay? Who is in here causing all of this discord? Like, yeah, bye. Like, we don't have time for you. I don't even know who you are. Never seen your name in here a day in my life. Okay? And I've noticed that recently. I've seen that on several other people's platforms when I'm in the gym listening and watching. I am noticing a great deal of people who are hopping on that's never hopped on before. They're trying to expose themselves literally in order to get your video snatched from YouTube. They're coming in the chats. It's been a minute since I've had to deal with troll behavior, but we do best, child, and we send them back under the bridge whence they came. Okay? Yeah, girl. Let me hold on. And all they gonna do in the end is Chloe, I made you a moderator. Okay. Tina, I made you a moderator too. Spicy Original, I made you a moderator too. Okay? Yes. But yeah, I really just wanted to take that time to, express my thoughts and my feelings. I cannot call myself the court of truth and justice, honey, and not speak up against these great injustices, child, that are plaguing our human experience, girl. Okay, what's up, Patches? How you doing? Thank you, everybody coming in the building. I really do appreciate it. Make sure you're tapping that like button as you make your way into the court. Okay, hello, God. I know a lot of you are anticipating this live review with our special guest who just joined us. Hello, guys. What's up, Ando? How you doing? So without further ado, again, I want everybody to be respectful. When I do things like this, I am not who I am when I am normally reviewing. Okay, I still give what needs to be given, honey. Okay, but I do ask that everyone please be respectful. All right. So joining me tonight, are you ready, boo? You ready? All right, let's do it, dude. Hey.
Hold on, I don't know why I can't hear. Hold on a second.
Mm-hmm.
You can hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Hold on, I might got to connect to my Bluetooth speaker, but I'll be right back.
Okay. Let me take him out real quick, man. Move the stage. I'll come back when he's ready. I'll bring him back when he's ready. But yes, honey, we're gonna get into some things tonight. Let's see, is he ready?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Can you hear me good?
Wait, I can't hear you. Hold on. Something's going on. Does this got an app? This
No.
StreamYard?
No.
Hold on.
Try leaving and coming back in.
Let me leave and come back in and see if that works.
Okay. Okay. Yes, child. Technical difficulties, forgive the kids. Okay. I don't know what we're gonna do with all of that insect noise in the background, but child, we'll try to get through. I'm not gonna try to be too picky tonight, okay? Yes, honey. Hopefully y'all have been enjoying your weekend thus far. I know I have. Well, not really. I've just been resting. And for the first time in a long time, girl, like I'm just not really living for, I don't know, maybe I've like outdone myself and I'm just tired of the those that know, honey, okay, oh God, like maybe I'm over that. I had this lowly bottom last night, and when I just tell you all that bitch was doing was using all my poppers. Girl, like no. I was irritated. I said, you're done. This broccoli is done. Like, I'm good, girl. Like every 5 seconds, poppers. I'm like, girl, you can go. I'm done. I'll finish myself off. Thank you so much. Niche skeet, honey, you're not needed, required, nor desired. Like, I'm telling y'all, I can't wait to do my Patreon so y'all can listen to the reality. Hello, God, the real tea, girl. Like, I just be over, girl. Any slight inconvenience, you have to go. You have to go, girl, period. Like, I just can't. I just can't. Let's try this again. Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, why is it telling me to press play? Oh, okay. Yeah, I can hear you good now.
Okay, perfect. Perfect. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good, child. I'm good. Thank you so much for being willing to do this and sit with me and do the live review, as well as how it goes, child. We're going to get into some things about you as well.
Okay.
Before we do that, we have to obviously clear the air on some things, because I know a lot of people have been privy to a lot of the things that I've had to say and a lot of things that you also had to say in response to reviewers like myself. Okay. So
Okay.
initially, we started off very, very rocky because of a lot of the commentary that I was giving about you on the show. Some people sent me some clips of an interview you did with Savion. Shout out to him. I watched the interview.
Am I cutting out?
Yeah. Is your phone on D&D?
Hold on. Yeah, it is. I just noticed. No, I noticed like you started cutting out, so I was like, something's weird going on over here. But okay, let's try
I
this
hear
again.
the internet down your way is not really doing all that great. Maybe something's going on in Texas.
Hold on. Maybe it's because I'm out. I don't know if it's because I'm outside or what. Hold on. We might have to go to my other little room.
Are you connected to Wi-Fi?
Yeah, and I'm like, what the hell? And it's supposed to be 5G allegedly. But
Child,
all
have you ever noticed that really don't be what they say it's gonna be?
right. But I think this is better. I don't know. You keep cutting out on my end too. So I'm like, I don't know what's going on. My shit. Hold on. Let me see something.
It's my internet? Hold on, let me see.
No, no, I was like, you were cutting out too, so I thought that it was because of me because of that.
Let
But
me
maybe it's
someone
not.
said,
Maybe I don't know what's going on. But you kept freezing a little bit too. That's why I asked you, was I freezing? Maybe we got a bad connection.
let me go out and come back in.
Cause I'm like, I know my Wi-Fi works good on everything else. I've done this a couple of times. I'm like, maybe we just got a bad connection. I'm like, is there a way you can invite me on just through your YouTube channel and not through StreamYard? Hold on.
Okay, is that better? Donny, ooh, where you at? It's a third-party app, so I can't bring you in directly through YouTube. And I don't even think YouTube allows you to bring up a guest, do they? Child, it is hot. Honey, I don't even want my light bill for next month. The way I've been blasting this AC, girl, I got all these damn fans on, okay? I apologize, y'all. I really do apologize. Girl, hold on. I apologize. We're trying to get it together over here, honey. And my whole reason for doing it at 7 instead of 7:30 is I needed to kind of get off of here a little earlier than normal, but child, we're gonna make it work. What is this thing called, girl? StreamYard. I'm coming, y'all. I'm so sorry. I'm trying to send the link again. Okay. Hold on 1 second. Okay, I just sent the link. All right, hopefully this works. But am I good now? Am I okay? You can hear, you can see. Hello, God. It used to be. I don't know what's going on now. Honestly, I'm noticing. StreamYard went up. StreamYard used to be $10. Hello, God. Now she's like $40. I think I saw there was a plan for. They used to do like 30 to 60-day free trials with the more upgraded plans. Now, girl, I'm not paying for none of that shit. Hell no. Hello.
Is this better?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah. No, it's because I got a Galaxy Flip because I don't like iPhone software and then they got all this security shit. I had an iPhone for like 6 days and I gave the bitch back because I was just like, it's just too complicated for me.
You know what? I only got pushed into iPhone because I've always been a Samsung type of bitch. I love Samsung, but I needed a phone real quick, and they weren't having any deals on the Samsung at the time, so they were giving away free iPhones. I was like, fuck it. So, but I do agree, their software is trash.
Yeah, I'm like, man.
Their
But
software.
okay, we can get started whenever you're ready.
Okay, we are here, child. All right, we are going to push through. Amen. All right. So, just going back to what I was saying initially, I before we're able to move forward with the live review and everything, and obviously this is not just a live review. It's also we're going to get into some things pertaining to you as well. And things that will relate to you, we'll get into a little bit deeper because based on the episode, right, as we move forward with the review. But before we do that, I definitely wanted to take the time to clear the air because I know my people as well as your people, they have publicly seen a lot of the things that I've had to say in my reviews about you and your response to those things. Shout out to Savion, shout out to Harviana. You appeared on both of their platforms and you vocalized your your disdain for a lot of the things that I've had to say about you throughout your beginning portion of being introduced into this season. I want to say this. I give a little extra.com for entertainment quality, and I know that it is fucked up because it does come at y'all's expense. And, that's something that I always have to reconcile. But some people are able to loosen up and go along with the punches. But there were two things that I think that I said that I probably should have came out with a little bit more care, not really understanding the weight of my joking around. So as it relates to the drug allegations that I put on you and the fact that I was speaking of your family in such a way that reminded me of people being your caretakers, I want to say that I work in the field of mental health and drug addiction, and utilizing my experience sometimes of what I see visually, that's what it was serving me. That's what it was serving a lot of other people that were watching as well. Not everybody, but it wasn't until you were talking to Savion and talking to Harviana, and I saw you progress throughout this season, that I realized that it's not drugs. It's just a lot of your. Can you speak to that? I don't want to speak for you. Speak to that. Speak to that, please. It's not drugs. It's not anything like that.
It's just my nervous system is really like shot to hell right from my childhood. Like I've always just been a nervous kid, and then like we found out when I was like in first grade that I had ADHD, and
Mm.
that I just had a little bit of PTSD too, because of like the extremes that my mom took me through as a kid, like leaving me at trap houses by myself with my brothers and sisters for hours at a time while she went and did whatever. It was just like a lot of traumatic events before I even turned 10. So that just made me a naturally nervous person and just kind of timid. I'm not so much timid anymore, but I do still get nervous, like in certain situations. Like it'll just bring out that nervousness, and it might appear that I'm on drugs, but I promise you, it's just my anxiety is through the roof. That's
Have
it.
you ever partook in Drugiana?
Yeah, I have I've experimented with a couple of different drugs, but I've never been addicted to anything except for weed. Like that's what I
Okay.
depend on a day-to-day basis. But whenever I've been out and about with the girls, down yonder, somebody might have offered me a bump or two or an X pill, and I took it just for fun. But it's not like I woke up the next day and was like, "Oh, I need a bump." Oh, like it never gave that with me. Like I might need a blunt when I wake up, but I never needed nothing else. Like, and it's just because
Okay.
weed helps me feel like neutral. Like I don't feel like so much on edge and like antsy or the need to get up and do something all the time.
Okay, so it's not giving peanut butter and crack sandwich.
No, 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 not at all. No, I'm telling you, like,
Okay.
because my mom, she was a drug addict then, and she still is now. So I like steer clear away from those type of people or those situations at all. I don't like the PMP scene. I'm totally against it. Like, I'm totally against a lot of the things. Like, yeah, it's okay to have fun every now and then, but I'm not talking about meth or crack. Like, there's party drugs, and then there's like serious drugs.
I hear you. I need to take a brief moment. This hasn't happened in a while. I definitely have to shout out the husband of my husband, Woo Lee, honey. Hello, guys. Shout out to you. Hello, guys. Shout out to the show that you have coming out. I appreciate you joining us here this evening. Okay. Um, I just had to get that out of the way. Uh, all things stop for your husband, child.
Yes,
Um,
for sure.
But okay, I definitely, when I heard your response and your reaction to, I'm not ever one of those people that are going to, I might read down a little bit, but if you're defending yourself and your character and your integrity, I'm never mad at that. And that's what I'm talking about when we have these conversations. I understand now, looking back, it was a progression to watch you grow. But I think as an audience, it's important to lay out kind of who you are and why you are a little bit earlier on, because I felt I can be a very transparent person and I can be known as a bitch, but everyone also knows me. I'm very unbiased, and I have the tact and the willfulness to look inside myself and call myself out. I felt bad after hearing what it really is, and also seeing you talk about it in the later parts of the season. And I was like, damn, like I really was out here calling this man all kinds of, drug addicts and stuff. And this is what that is. And what hurt me the most is hearing your story is very relatable. My mother was also on drugs very heavy. She lost her kids to the system. She left me. She was so high, honey. She left me at a daycare center and told the folks to come get me because she didn't want me no more.
Yeah,
So yeah,
that's very traumatic. And it
and
leaves like emotional scars.
it definitely does. And it can also dictate how you respond to things happening to you in life, whether it's relationships, intimate, or just social, how you deal with your family, how you view yourself, like all of the things. And it again, I love the progression, and I do appreciate hearing and seeing visually you kind of like open up and literally like change. And I also wanted to talk about that too. You've been very vocal in this season about going to therapy, and you've mentioned it on a number of occasions. How has therapy helped you reconcile a lot of your trauma?
Oh, it helped a lot. It helped because for number one, I just finally got to talk about it like without holding back at all. Like, because it's to somebody that doesn't even know you. So that helps a lot more than what people know is talking to somebody who you don't know about your problems because they're not going to judge you or they're not going to be, biased pretty much or like take prejudgment on the situation based on what they might already know about you.
Mm,
So that's the best part about it to me. And then just, it just they help you really focus on the root of the issue. Like, and then we talk about it and then they encourage you to put yourself in a situation to better it. And for me, it was just simply going into other cultured places that I'm not used to,
mm,
aka the white tea clubs.
mm.
And that really opened me up a lot because that really was the main problem with me with other races started from me being a child and my white grandpa told my mom. I remember she took us to his house and he told her, get those kids out of here, they're nothing to me. And it was just really a traumatic moment. So after that, I just grew up thinking like all white people hate us, all other races, period, hate us. That's how I used to think.
I mean, you wouldn't be wrong. You know, it's not all, but it's definitely a vast majority.
And nobody growing up, like my black side of the family, they never, they're the same way, kind of. It's messed up, but they grew up in Oklahoma where, they were definitely segregated and there
Mm,
was like a black side of town and then a white side of town. So, it's not, there's still a lot of racial tensions where I'm from.
mm.
And so it was hard to see other cultures, and understand where they're coming from too. But I do now. That's what therapy helped with. Like, I we had extensive conversations on other cultures, and I went out and experienced other cultures, and I'm open to all people. Like before, I was a little standoffish with other races that weren't black, but now I'm just like I'm more open to it, and a lot of it comes from dating other races that aren't black too. Like the first time you get in an argument with them, they want to call you, you know,
Mm.
with the with the hard er.
And that would definitely incite violence.
Yeah, and it did. Like, I mean, and it definitely did incite violence, and it caused me to lash out racially back on them
Mm,
because I'm like, you're not just gonna call me that, and I'm not gonna call you something back. But I know now that's wrong, and if anybody talks to me like that, I just have to get rid of them out of my life.
I hear you. Do
Like,
you attribute? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, that is it.
Oh, do you attribute therapy? Because obviously a lot of people talk it, but you rarely ever feel the genuine nature behind it. And I really do feel like, again, the constant conversations that you've had about going to therapy, it's actually showing up in your behavior and especially in the middle to later episodes in the season. Do you attribute that to a lot of your come to Jesus moments in this season?
Yeah, I did, and then other cast members, shout out Chloe and Mother, they would just pull me to the side and be like, "You're doing too much.
Mm,
You look bad on camera. Like, you need to clean it up. Like, it looks really, really bad."
mm,
And then I was like, "Okay, like that helped too." And they're just like, "Something's wrong with you. You need help." And at first I took it offensive, but I realized, they were right. And
mm.
halfway through filming, I got into therapy.
Okay. Are you still in therapy currently?
Yes, I just don't go 4 days a week anymore like I used to
For
because like yeah, my dad's insurance was paying for it, but they stopped paying for it. So now I'm just going like once or twice a month.
Um, I do have this question, and I call myself the mirror as well as the judge, right? Those are names
Mhm.
that I give myself. But more specifically, when I'm reviewing these shows, what makes me different as a reviewer is I like to do a lot of introspective work. I like to look in depth in a person's character and integrity, what they're showing us on the show. Being in the place that you're at now, it seems like you're in a solid headspace. Looking back at your initial introduction into this season, could you see how some people could take you the wrong way?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. Even my therapist, when I showed her that, she was like, this is just outlandish behavior and it almost needs, you needed attention back then. Like she basically was telling me I almost needed to be admitted into a hospital acting like that.
Mm,
So that made me open my eyes and really realize like, okay, there's something fucked up going on up here.
mm,
And it's like, I'm not slow, but emotionally I'm messed up.
mm,
And that's what causes me to like act out crazy. And with Jeff, it was just like that whole thing just it stirred back to me being in elementary when I used to get bullied by kids and they would
mm,
say mean things about me online or whatever at school, pass notes about me, then I would find them or whatever. And it just brought back that trauma and I did not know how to deal with it. And the first chance I got to confront him, y'all didn't know, but it had been like a 3 or 4 month buildup before filming behind the scenes with me and him.
oh,
And he just was ducking and dodging me. He wasn't trying to address the issue because I wasn't on the show. So he felt like, I'm not addressing you till you get on my level. So then that's why I started dropping diss songs and all of that. Cause I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna make you have to confront me one way or another about everything. And it
but let me
worked.
but let me ask you this question. Now, when you met with Jet Jeff in the Earth, I forget what episode it was, but y'all met in that really cute little wherever y'all were at. He had this
Episode 3.
episode 3. All right, now, episode 3 where y'all met up. That when you were speaking, and I gave a very harsh review because it was really given, like, and no offense, but at the time it was giving pick me energy. Like,
Yeah.
I want so hard to make you guys look at me and see me. I'm gonna do everything needed, required, and desired to be on the show. So, can you speak to that? Because that explanation that you gave definitely was like, okay, so you just admitted to wanting to be on here. So,
I It was like, okay, yeah, no, that episode, let me just say, was very cringe for me to watch back. Because for number one, I had smoked a joint in the car before I went in. The
mhm.
bar wasn't open yet, so I could not get no drink. So I had cotton mouth from hell, like real in the worst way. So I'm looking retarded, like trying to lick my lips and shit to keep moist, and then having to argue with him. And I already was told before I walked in that I couldn't physically like do anything and I needed to like restrain myself. And at that time I wasn't in therapy yet. So I was just like emotionally all over the place and like couldn't sit still. And it was just I couldn't even think straight to answer any of Jet's questions correctly. And it was just like, honestly, he was applying so much pressure. I gave him props on that episode. He was applying so much pressure during that conversation that I just like shut down and I like couldn't even properly answer the questions that
Mm,
he was asking me in the proper way. Cause I was just like, kind of having anxiety and I was just having one of those mental breakdown moments where it's just like, okay, here we go again. And he started off on 10 in that conversation and I was just like, okay, my thing is, okay, bitch, I don't really talk too much. I do now, but back then I was like, my mindset was, I don't do all this arguing back and forth. We're not the housewives, bitch. If you got a problem, slap me. That was my mindset. So I like was just going through it the whole time there, and I like shut down for a minute and I couldn't answer his questions and he started eating me up. I give it to him. But yeah, it was very cringe to watch back, especially. But even after I left from filming that scene, I was like, this didn't go as planned. But I did have a lot of valid points. I just didn't get to prove them at that point. But throughout the season, I think all the viewers can see that, most of my story that I said was true, for real. Like, and it did get me on the show by speaking on it, but that wasn't the goal entirely. I really applied for the show to get revenge on this bitch. Like, I didn't even care. He's been on the show for 2 seasons already. I could have been did this to get on the show, right? I've
Mhm.
been watching since season one, so I've been a fan of the series. So if I wanted to chase the clout that bad, I could have did it the second year he was on there. That wasn't the reason, but once TTB and other networks started picking up on our beef, I was like, I really got on the show to spite Jet Jeff and to show him like you're not the almighty queen that you think you are, and somebody else can really come in here and do the same thing you're doing or better. And I really feel like I humbled him a lot on the show. And some of the other girls did too. And he's no longer doing that same shit that he used to do in season 4 and 5.
But the question that I have, again, I don't just speak for myself in this regard. I do speak for a lot of the viewership too, where again, what we're seeing and how it's showing up to us, and we all got to be honest here, it gives very much pressed and bothered. Like I would have, again, I understand we all have gateways to get to where we need to get to, but do
Mhm.
you feel like if you just would have shown up without that, that you would have been attached to the show?
I speak about this a little bit on the next episode, but I'll touch on it again now a little bit. I feel like I genuinely did audition for this show a couple of times.
Okay.
Granted, my music wasn't what it is now, and the visuals wasn't what they are now. But my ambition and drive has always been the same. It's just a different person was in charge of the show when I used to apply for it. So I had really felt like I didn't give it a chance when Markel had it to audition for it because I'd already felt defeated by the network from them saying no 2 times already.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, whatever. And so I was like, okay, maybe you have to do it a little bit differently. Maybe you have to take a different approach. But I promise you, once I got on the show, I didn't do any of that anymore. I really like tried to leave Jet Jeff alone.
We
We
see
had
that.
our sit we had our sit down, and then after that I let that girl go her own way. Cause at that point, another bitch, Zesty, had already started trying me, and that was a genuine beef that
Mm.
started from the ground up. So I was like, and people were telling me, just focus on that. Don't worry about Jet, because that story seems like it don't have no foundation. Just go with what's more organic to the viewers. And, you know, and me and Zesty naturally didn't like each other. We had a real issue from day one at the pink party. And it was just like, it was up from there. And then that was genuinely what y'all seen it was real between me and Zesty. And with me and Jet Jeff too, like moving forward, me and him had a natural issue that formed during filming that's gonna come up on the next episode. And then, after filming, me and him have had some disagreements, one recently. Because he was talking about my father, and I told these bitches from day one to leave. If you're a vlogger like you, that's different. But if you are a rapper or somebody on the show, it's like you don't need to be speaking on my father because you know why he was there. Don't play stupid.
Well, I shout out to one of the Justice League members, Ebby Reviews. We had a conversation in our private group chat on Instagram, and when it was brought out that live was recorded and uploaded, she went back to watch his after show. Come to find out, all that Jet Jeff said was that why is your dad basically looking for camera time?
It was the way that he
You
said
thought he
it.
called him a camel, girl.
I did because this is what I won't listen to the fans no more because they be trying to stir up some shit. But that part, okay, I did apologize to him. Me and him We had a little phone conversation that same day,
Mm.
later on that night, but we still have a lot of shit. I told him I wasn't talking to him about everything. I was going to see you at the reunion, and then we will have our conversation.
Okay.
But
Yeah, rule
yeah,
number
no, but
one.
it's just the way that he said it with a very nasty and bad. It was just a very bad demeanor, like how he said it about my dad. It was just the energy he gave. If he would have said it differently, like, I'm genuinely concerned as to why his father's here. If any of you bitches were worried, why can't y'all ask me? No, never once did anybody ever bring this up during filming, mind you. They never had a problem when they seen him, this man on site. And just to clear the air, my father was there because it was 1 versus 11 in the beginning. So of course I have to call somebody to be outside weigh in with some kind of backup reinforcement. Like, I can't, you'd be stupid and a fool to show up completely alone. Like, yes, I'm gonna film alone, but if you bitches go to the extreme, just know y'all ain't making it out this parking lot alive.
And speaking of your dad, and we do see moments of your boyfriend, and I know that I made jokes in my reviews calling them like your home health aid workers.
Well, I mean, sometimes they are my, like, what do they call it, handler? Like, I mean, there's times where people they do have to step in and be like, okay, no, like, you can't do this here. This is not the place. It's not the time. But it's okay. Like, I think a lot of these bitches need handlers. So it's like, sometimes you need somebody right there to make sure you don't overstep until you can learn how to do it on your own.
That's what I said in one of my reviews. I said it's either they're home health workers or they know this boy so well they have no choice but to be there because he will go off at a drop of a dime.
Yeah, it's just like that's why my boyfriend doesn't like to let me go nowhere. In the beginning, during filming, me and him had just started dating.
Mm.
So he wasn't even there all the time. He was there maybe like a few times. But he wasn't even there all the time because me and him was new, and I wasn't trying to let him see the crazy yet.
Yeah.
I was trying to hide the crazy. So, I was filming and then coming home and taking the crazy off and throwing it in the closet, baby.
I hear you.
So I wasn't trying to let him see that in the beginning, but then it just so happens, like, like people from the show started following him. It was just like, okay, yeah. Came to a point where he just had to know everything. And I just put everything on the floor and was like, look, this is what it is. If you don't want to stay, I completely understand.
Me and giving you shout out to giving you the real tea from the chasing panel. He came up. We started calling your boyfriend Agent 47. Okay. Speaking of like all of that, so how was it? Because this is the first time that I've bared witness to either family members or boyfriends or just anybody just constantly being around and not getting involved really, because like on the other hand, even though most of us was like, child, like this can either go one way or another, but I kind of respect your people for letting you be in this space and handle your own business, because there were several occasions where if you were my son or my man or my brother, the way that I would have had to drag some of these girls in the street life on behalf of you, how difficult was that to kind of like let them know, hey, calm down, let me do what I got to do, don't get involved. Like how was trying to avoid that?
Well, my boyfriend was the hardest one because I'm like, look, I don't want you to be on camera fighting for me, and then by the time filming's done, we ain't even together. I was
Mm.
like, that's gonna look stupid and real bad. So I was really keeping him at bay. Like, look, as long as I don't get jumped by more than one person, then it's cool. Don't get in. And my dad, he's been dealing with this since I was a teenager, right? I've been fighting. There used to be boys that would show up to my house from school and want to fight, and he would tell me, no, you got to go out there and fight. Like,
Mm.
so he's used to it. As long as nobody jumps me, he's gonna make me stand on business. If I did something wrong or I said something out the side of my neck, he's gonna make me stand on it, whether I get my ass whooped or not. I mean, he's not gonna let a bitch kill me, but he's gonna make me stand on what I said, whether I win or not. He says it's gonna teach me either to shut my mouth or fight better, Shit.
You know what? Let me tell you one thing I will say, reading some of the comments throughout the season, as well as having my own mind to think this way. I say you have a very Southern mentality when it comes to fighting. Like, I don't care if I win or lose. I'm still gonna show up and do what I got to do regardless. And damn the shame or the gossip that might come afterwards. Why do you have that kind of mind frame?
Honestly, here we'll go back to the. I mean, it's gonna take us back to a racial subject matter, but honestly, it's because like growing up, like in school and stuff, I would take like African American history because I wanted to learn more about where we come from and stuff like that. And just hearing some of those stories of bravery, like from Harriet to Rosa to Martin to Malcolm, and there's a few other ones that just went out there and stood on business, knowing they could get shot or anything, and some of them lost their lives just to stand on what they believed in. So I always was like, I looked up to that, like hardcore, that always cut deep with me. Like, you have to stand up for what you believe in and up for yourself. You have to stand up for yourself ultimately, because if you're not going to stand up for yourself, nobody else is. So even if you might lose or it might not go in your favor, you have to show up and show out, like, to the fullest extent. And I mean, I just get it. I get it from the greats before me. You heard the name.
Because I definitely like, especially in the Zesty boxing ring match, like I said a lot of things. I said, you know what? I respect someone who knows their limits, and it was funny. It was entertaining. Your commentary on the situation was definitely entertaining. But I respect real shit when it's real. Like, hey
Like,
girl,
no
like I'm not gonna
zest.
these hits.
No, Zesty, I'm telling you, like with Rio, it wasn't that bad. But with Zesty, it's like, hold on now. Like that first hit, they didn't show it because it was so bad. That's why I didn't run backwards. I flipped backwards. Like this, he
Uh,
when he punched me, he spun me around
mm.
because he hit me like so hard, like right between my eyes. No, Zesty, I give sis her props. That bitch knows some shit. That's not somebody that I would recommend anybody just underestimate or play with. Because like he really can fight. Like, yeah, I know he might be a little sissy and shake his ass and shit, but I really think that he went through a lot of trauma and shit too. Because when we got in that ring, it was nothing but anger in his eyes. And like his
Mm.
eyes turned black. That bitch turned into a demon. And he was
Oh,
hitting like he was hitting me like he wanted to kill me. That's all I'm gonna say.
mm.
Like he was trying to take me out.
No
It was
one.
like it was like some serious shit. Granted, I did say some things to him to really piss him off, but I'm like, damn girl, you trying to kill me over it? Like he was really trying to make me leave on a stretcher that day. I
Oh,
promise you.
wow. Well, I respect how y'all were able to, do what y'all had to do. I respect your dad and Robert because the way that they were able to be mature and the way everything was just blowing up after the fact. I was like, what is all of this? Looking, because I know you fled the scene, child, but like looking back at that moment, were you shocked to see how everything just became so explosive?
Yes, I was upset with both sides. I was upset with my dad because I'm like, I get my messiness from him. You can tell
I,
probably. And I'm like, Dad, you always got to stick around and be nosy, and that's gonna come back to bite you in the ass one day. I'm like, you see, my dad see me. First of all, he's standing at the door of the exit as we're fighting, right? So
Mhm.
he is standing at the exit. He sees me after the fight. I was thinking, I was like, do I want to give this bitch another round or not? But my head was like spinning so much. I'm like, hell no, that bitch gonna knock me out the second round. For real. And I'm like, I can't take them chances. I was like, let me just, stay good while I'm ahead, bitch.
I hear
And
you.
I was walking out. Me and my boyfriend were discussing at the door. They cut that part, edited it out. But we were at the door talking, and he was like, "Are you gonna go back in?" I'm like, "No." And Zesty
Mm.
and me even had an exchange right there. And I was like, "I'm not fighting you again, bitch." Like, but they cut that part out. And he was like, "No, I want to fight more." Like he was telling me he wanted to fight more. And I literally walked out. But I think everybody was in shock. The other people who wanted to fight me, so they didn't really get up out of their seats yet. They were still in awe of what just happened. So everybody was paying attention to Zesty. talking shit with his friends, and I just like I didn't really run. I power walked though. But I didn't really run, but I walked to my car. Right when I got in, here comes Rachel, child, running, and I had my sunroof open. She hops through the sunroof and throws a punch at me. And I'm like, oh God, please don't bust my windows out, bitch. Please. These windows is 500 a piece, bitch. Please. I'm like, please don't bust these windows out. But she didn't. She hit the car a little bit, left a little scratch or whatever. But no, but I was in complete shock because I didn't think that they would even give my dad the time of day to argue with him. But a lot of people were saying that my dad was being messy. I don't know the full story because a lot of it was edited out. But but multiple people were saying that my dad was really giving it up like he wanted to do something to somebody. So
Well, so knowing that, like, and that's one thing that kills me as a reviewer, and why sometimes I have no choice but to either apologize or, later on recant something, or I end up feeling some type of way, because I do understand now, because you're not the only one that spoke on this through the times that I've been reviewing these shows. I understand editing takes place, but to edit out context to a situation, because a person can feel so, because I have to review what I'm watching and what I see. I'm not privy to a lot of the things that happen off camera or the things that they decided to leave out. So I do think that, moving forward, these platforms need to do a little bit better with providing a little more context. I understand we need suspense and we need moments, but if nothing's connecting or making sense, and we have a thought or a perception on what we're seeing, I don't want to be misjudging a situation, because I just wanted to know what was the blow up for after, because once you left, that scene was about you and Zesty. Once y'all left, that should have been it. But the fact that things carried on and we don't have any context to answer for why we're here, it just looked like a bunch of foolishness to me.
Yeah, my dad even admitted that he got out of character a little bit with some of them. So I was just like, I couldn't speak
Well,
on it
he's
at
a
the time.
father. He's a father. You're his son, and at the end of the day, like, y'all don't know all of these people here and why we're gathered here today. Like, what if it was a jumping situation? You know how the punks can get, child. Like,
No, it
it can get a
probably
little.
if I would have stayed there, I probably would have got jumped. So like I always have this sixth sense or this strong intuition when something bad's gonna happen. I'm telling you. And
But the
like
question for me
that
is, like, why that would have even happened to begin with? Because we're here to film you and Zesty in your boxing match. The boxing match is now over. Now I
so let me
understand.
give you a little back rundown of why. Okay, so like, after fast forward, okay, so it was only like 6 days in between Taco Tuesday and me and Zesty fighting. So I fought Rio, and then 6 days later, I had to go fight Zesty. Mind you, I'm still in fucking pain from fighting Rio, back pain and shit. Because this bitch was like, yeah, that was a lot. But so I'm still in recovery from that. But yeah, Rachel, she had ran up on me after that Rio fight. And I don't know what she was trying to say. I still don't know because I blacked out. But she was trying to say something to me. I wasn't trying to hear shit after that. I'm trying to cool off, find my man, find my dad, and get the fuck out of there. And she came running up on me, and I turned around to tell her to back the fuck off, but I couldn't feel my lip. It was like hanging. It was like numb. I couldn't feel it, and I'm like spitting blood out while I'm talking. I didn't like hawk back and spit, Like there's a difference. She's like
Yeah.
this close. She's this close in my face, like literally in my grill, trying to talk to me about me and Rio's fight that just happened. My adrenaline's pumping. And I'm just like, get the fuck away from me. Like, screaming. And in the midst, some blood flew out of my mouth. I don't think it got on her. It got on the ground. She was lit. We all were lit that night. We were having a good time before we started filming. So we all were lit. And she just took it to the extreme. She was like, "How dare you fucking disrespect me?" And the next morning, I woke up after Taco Tuesday, and my DMs were flooded from her and her family telling me how they were gonna beat my ass. They said they were telling me, "Be ready after you fight Zesty, because you got more fades to run." So
Oh.
So there's some context for you. So Rachel and her people were already at me behind the scenes in my Instagram DMs telling me, be ready Sunday, bitch, we got you for spitting on our mother. And I was like, I try to explain to all of them, like, look, I didn't spit on her. I'm not ducking the fade. If I would have spit on her, I'd be like, I got to stand on it and get my ass whooped or whatever happens. But I truly didn't spit on her. So I'm like, I'm not finna get my ass whooped for something I didn't do. I'm like, I'm not getting my ass whooped for something I didn't do. So I'm like trying to explain to them. The boys, they kind of like backed off in the DM. So I was thinking everything was good. But Rachel, she read my message and was like, um, no, fuck that. When I see you, it's up, basically. And so Sunday, I seen her pull up with like five niggas deep. And I'm like, oh Lord. I already was knowing. That's why after I fought Zesty, I did leave too. Cause I'm like, there's no way I'm gonna fight two or three or however many more people she brought for me to fight and her after I just fought this bitch that just slammed me on my back on the mat. So I'm like, no, let me go ahead and get the fuck up out of here. Like that's another reason why I hurried up and got out of there is because I knew that some shit was finna happen. And I had already told my dad before I got in the ring, when you see me go, you go too. So I'm like, I couldn't feel bad all the way. Like, yes, I feel bad because that's my father. If I would have been there, we would have definitely had to stand on business together. But I told that man to get his ass up out of there whenever I did too. And being the nosy man that he is and loves the drama, he sat back and wanted to have dialogue with these people. So I can't fully be mad at these people for, standing their ground when somebody's coming at them too. I will just
Well,
say huh?
now that we have the backstory, I'm not mad at your daddy or your peoples for showing up and trying to show out. Because if you intentionally brought leopard pants and all these other people
Yeah.
came to fight you, like
Hmm.
what the fuck? So did you knew that going in there? Is that another reason why you just decided to go ahead and leave too?
Yes. Like that's another reason. Like as soon as I'm done fighting Zesty, I'm looking at them. They're standing on the ring. Mind you, the whole time me and Zesty are fighting, are getting ready to fight, these niggas are yelling out shit like, you better be ready to fight us when you get out the ring too. And they're like, a lot of it, I psyched myself out in that fight because I'm going in with no support. You have all these people yelling, whoop Donnie's ass. Yeah, beat his ass, da 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 da. So I'm getting psyched out too because I got nobody on my side rooting for me. Yeah, my people's there, but everybody else's people already took up the front rows and right there by the ring. So my people are in the back watching. So they couldn't even be up there. I got literally 20 people yelling, whoop my ass.
Was
And
production and other cast members that were there, were they aware of this plot to jump you?
no, because I didn't tell nobody because I'm just not that type of person. Like I'm not, like the only people I told was my people, like my boyfriend, my best friend, my dad. Like those are the only people I told. But I didn't tell production because I'm just like, I don't want to seem like I'm a tattletale or anything.
It ain't about that.
I just was like, now moving forward, and I just feel like I didn't even have a leg to stand on at that time to be like complaining about anything. So I'm
Honey,
just
look, girl, I was about to pull out my shotgun and show you how we roll in Florida, baby. Okay, I was about to go ahead and pull Miss Sister Mary Clarence and her cousins out of retirement, girl. Let me tell you something, and this is a message for that ET looking bitch and her so-called friends. I know you're built like Harriet Tubman pre-makeup bitch, but let me explain something. If you were to jump this child and him or his loved ones decided to let off a few rounds into your ass, they would not spend one day in jail.
yeah.
If y'all had decided to pull them things out and go to attack an ET, girl, there will be no phoning home. Girl, there will be no nothing. Because what you have done now is you took a situation that was a big misunderstanding, thinking that someone spit on you, and you have the nerve and audacity to go round up your crew and them to rally up in your defense. All of them, if that was me, y'all would be laying on the ground meeting the maker, girl.
No, seriously. And my dad is licensed to carry and always has a gun. And this is the reason, like, my brother had came to the pink party, but he waited in the car. while we were he had waited in the car while we were filming, but he's a real nutball case, and he was trying to pull his gun out and run up on people, so I couldn't invite my brother to any more filmings. But that just goes to prove your point. You never know what people got going on. So it's best not to do nothing too crazy. And no, I had warned production. I told them, I said, if shit gets too crazy, some bodies might hit the goddamn flow. I had warned him multiple times. There's plenty of times I told Markel, I got a knife on me just in case bitches jump me. I told him before filming, before everything, like, look, y'all better control these bitches because if they get to jumping me, bitches gonna get cut.
That is crazy. I do kind of wonder because you have elders in the group such as Robert, and you have other people. You know, Robert is attached to her, so it wouldn't be difficult for one to think that who knows what's going on? Am I being set up? Because is anybody standing up in these moments and saying, "Hey, Rachel, calm the fuck down"? You know, like, and that's why I think it would have been responsible for you to mention that to production, because this could have went very left. We
Yes.
saw the way in which the verbal violence was taking place, and her tapping your car, and then Mr. Leopard Pants getting all of his feelings over situations that were exaggerated and blown way out of proportion. Like, all of y'all could have been hurt. You could have been in prison. Y'all got a lot of things going on. So I just think people it would have been great if you just would have spoke up and said, like, letting y'all know, this is what they said. These are the DMs. I'm not a scary hoe. And I respect you for not being a scary hoe. But there's a time where you have to put your safety above all, because these punks, they don't play by the same rules as everybody. They don't have the same kind of respect that you'll probably have for a fight or being able to take a few hits. They're trying to literally hurt you.
Yes, no, that's what it gave that for it. It started to give that for a minute. Like, okay, these bitches really want to see me dead or some crazy demonic shit, like. But then I'm just glad that we're at the place we're at now. But yes, it was getting very scary, very nervous. There was a lot of times I didn't want to come to certain events they would invite me to because I was fearing for my safety or I didn't know how the shit would go. And I'm not trying to go to jail for slicing somebody's throat for defending myself. And if it's me or you, if I feel like I'm backed into a corner, you know, I'm gonna resort to extreme measures to protect myself. And I'm sorry for anybody who tries to play with me like that. But if I feel like I'm finna die, I'm going to do something to you. Like,
I hear you.
so it could have really gotten ugly for either me or the people that I had beef with. And I think, some of them, I think Zesty kind of knew that if we took this to the streets, it would have gotten way worse. That's why he was, I always commend him for wanting to do it the safe way in the ring. Because
Okay.
it gives that, like everything don't have to be extremely violent. You can have
Right.
you can have a problem with somebody, but it doesn't have to always go to extremes.
Right. I hear you.
And
Oh,
he really did back off after that, so it
well,
worked.
there's respect applied. I'm from the hood, and I'm from a old school type of hood where we respect those with heart. You may not be the fighter or the winner of every situation, but we've always respected people who have some heart to them and that don't
Mhm.
mind. Hey, like the kind of mentality that you have, whether I win or lose, honey, you ain't gonna punk me. So
Yeah.
we respect that kind of stuff. Um, Moving on real quick before we get into the live review, I wanted to discuss your apology tour. I really did live for it because it showcased, the work that you've been doing in therapy. It showcased how you were able to take a lot of what you learned and utilize the tools and, be genuine in your apologies.
Uh-huh.
But I have to say this, like in my reviews and there were a lot of comments during that episode that were just like, I'm here for an apology, but I felt as if it came off a little bit cowardly lying. Can
Mm.
you explain? Okay, looking back at those moments, like I'm here for the apology. I'm here for you showcasing your genuine nature to want to move forward. But did you really have to give like the praise and worship?
No, like looking back, I'm like, I definitely gave them bitches too much, way too much, way too much. But at the time, like I told you, I didn't know how to properly apologize to anybody. So
Okay.
I was asking multiple people around me for a little bit of coaching on how I should go about the situation. I probably asked the wrong person, which was Ted Lee. So I probably should have not asked her for any advice because, it just, yeah, it gave too much. And looking back at his scenes, now I know why he would coach me like that because that's what he does. He kisses the bitches' asses that shit on him. No shade to her because I do like Ted Lee, but I've been telling this bitch to pick up a stick or something.
Well, it's hard to pick up a stick when you're built like one, girl. And then you out here serving stiff as a brick, child. So child, Tedley works my nerves because, like, my thing is, how is he going to try to give you advice and he don't even take none of the advice that we all trying to coach him on by revealing his true work history, his true work history. And obviously, if he can't, you guys own a garage business. You outlined what you needed as a client. He brought you to an office space.
Yes, and when we showed up there at first, when he gave us the address, I'm thinking, because I live in Uptown, so I'm thinking, there ain't no garage places in Uptown or anything like that. When he sent me the address, I'm thinking it's going to be like on the East Dallas or somewhere out where the fields and shit is at. And then we pull up, it's a tall, high-rise building. I'm like, where is the garage door at or anything? He's basically, I don't know why he did it, but it's given that he needed the scene or the story, and so he just went with it, and he thought that I was gonna go with it, but it's just like, no, ma'am.
Well, y'all technically did go with it in the scene, but I appreciate your confession of where you were getting him together.
Because it's just like, okay, yeah, I tried to spare him, but just throughout filming, I was just like, and then people had came and told me like this wasn't his first time doing that. So I'm like, okay, I didn't catch those parts on the previous seasons where he was doing that to people. But whenever, a couple of cast members were sending me the clips of him doing that to Robert Ray, and I think there was one other person before that he did it to, where he brought him to a space that wasn't what they asked for, or it wasn't ready to be seen, or I don't know.
Girl, child, if I'm telling you that I'm looking for a salon for my business, why would me as an alleged real estate person bring you to the middle of nowhere in fucking Middle Earth, hello God, out here with Frodo and Toto and the girls, a U-Haul space where you don't even have the key or access code to get into it, and no. It was in the middle of the wilderness. You would have thought Jeepers Creepers was going to come out and take the girls.
You would have thought they was going to be running for their lives.
I'm telling you, and I had to look around for them, because it was a dangerous situation.
No, and she better be glad Robert Ray didn't whoop her ass for that.
I definitely would have had to whoop her. Well, then again, girl, all it takes is for a small wind to kick up and Tedley will be whisked away, honey. Okay. I just can't.
But yes, he was part of the reason for my approach on the apology tour, and I should have just been like, kept it real short and simple and moved the fuck on. But yes, a lot of that was just like, okay, like me really not knowing how to give a proper apology, but wanting to give a proper apology. So it just came off like too much.
Well, I do appreciate the genuine nature. I think most of us saw it that way as well. But we some real niggas at the end of the day. And I'm looking at, I'm like, hold on now. There's a difference between apologizing
and kissing somebody's ass.
Yeah, and I was like, because that will make that person, you see how their reactions were. It was very overly confident. Like it was giving very much, I'm your highness and you bow to me. Like, I didn't even really like their reactions in it either, because I was just like, well, you see him being genuine. Why are you sitting over there talking about, It just really felt like, okay, But we understand it. That's part of your growth, and whatever their response is on them. Obviously, they're childish.
Zesty wasn't here for the apology. I could tell, I could tell you that
Well,
much.
it
Like,
seems like Rio wasn't either, girl. You driving 2 hours every day to film everything. You couldn't have sat down. Like, I feel like in a way, towards the end of your apology and your moment with Rio, you were almost hinting towards the fact, would you like to join me for food and drinks? That's where
yeah.
that's the energy, but you cut it short because he was cutting it short. But I just felt like, damn, bro, you drove all the way out here from Tyler, Texas, girl, hello, God, to do this. You could have sat down and had a drink with the boy.
Yeah, no, and I do believe he did say he had another scene to shoot for the Reckless Dolls after that, if I'm not mistaken, or he had some business thing to attend to after that. I don't know if he's lying or not, but that's what he said.
I mean, it could be true, I guess.
The most receptive conversation that I had out of the apology tour was with Rachel.
Well,
Because
she
she,
had no choice
yeah,
because,
I didn't do nothing.
period. Like, even I saw that in the beginning. I had your back in my review when it came to that too. I was like, hold on now, Rachel. Like, it's believable if we go back to that scene, everybody was drunk and bombarding you. Like, and not even just that though, PTSD, this just happened to me. Who else wants some?
Yeah, that's
So
what
you
I'm
don't know
thinking.
what the fuck is going on. So at the end of the day, and I mean Rachel, like I don't know where y'all at right now. This has nothing to do with you, but Rachel just irks my fucking nerves. I treat her like a chihuahua child. She just bark, 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 bark. Girl, like go somewhere, like
I
this
will
whole
say this, she has a very short fuse. Like
that's short.
it does not take much to get under that lady's skin. That lady, I'm telling you, you gotta almost walk on eggshells around her.
Well, and obviously it doesn't take much to get inside of her.
I'm telling you, it does not take much. I don't know if that's an East Coast thing
Oh no,
or
you didn't
what.
catch me. You didn't. I said it doesn't. It obviously doesn't take much to get inside of her.
Oh.
And I just want people to know my views are my views alone. They do not extend to my guests. Okay. Yeah. But anyway, I feel like I've addressed all that needs to be addressed. I just want to hop into the live review if that's okay with you. Is there anything else that you would like to say that I haven't covered with you so far?
Nope.
Okay.
You've hit it all on the nail.
All right. All right. So moving on to the live review, child. This episode 11, child, starts off with Granny Goodness and Professor Charles Xavier meeting up at Starbucks to discuss the group dynamics. I'm sorry, child. Like Jayla, the way they running around serving X-Men vibes, girl.
And
Okay.
I've seen Jayla. I think her hair is more of like a statement than a fashion thing. I mean, I
But,
haven't asked her, but I've seen her with wigs and she really gives it up in wigs. She looks way better.
you know, it wasn't until later on in the scene because it's not like Jayla's really opening up. She's too busy trying to play, you know, mother to everyone else and not open up about her own life. But come to find out, she's a cancer survivor.
Yeah, she is.
So I attribute that to probably, you know, a reaction to chemo, or maybe she likes keeping it bald. I have no idea. But nonetheless, I still coin her Charles Xavier. It's better than what I used to call her,
Oh, what did you used to call her?
the wet seal.
Oh my God, YB, you are a key.
I'm an equal opportunity shady bitch.
But I'm like, Jayla's story, I'm telling y'all, like, I hate that she just didn't have those moments on the show where she talked about it. But like behind the scenes, when we would hang out with her, like outside of filming, she would tell us, and yeah, her cancer. And then just the fact that she moved to Dallas and was doing this all on her own here and like really having to get it out the mud just to eat. And there was a lot, you know?
And again, like I have to put responsibility on both parties, not just production, but the cast members too. It is up to you to push your own narrative,
Yeah.
especially with people who have experience with doing shows. It's my understanding, I don't watch these shows, but it's said that she participated in another reality show. So my thing is,
Jayla?
yeah, apparently she was part of something on Zeus Network, I believe, or something like that. Um,
I
I
didn't.
didn't.
I
That's
didn't
one of
even know that.
a lot of people were saying that, and apparently she was giving up a lot more than what she's giving up in this season, in this
Mm.
particular show. I understand people don't stay the same. We all change depending on what's happening around us, and we grow. I'll allow for that. But I just feel like since you have experience, the same way I feel about Lamont, now that we know that y'all have experiences with prior shows and platforms, you know how you need to step into this world. And it's just fallen flat, not just for them, but multiple people on this season, unfortunately.
I think a lot of it has to do with because, like, honestly, I figured it out on my own, and none of them bitches were fucking with me, so I wasn't telling them how to do it, you know?
Right.
Like, but I think a lot of people misunderstood how the whole filming process goes and what you need to do to make sure you have scenes. I
Mm.
think that process went over a lot of people's heads that were on the cast, the new ones, and it was hard to navigate filming even for me. Like, it only happened, I only got stuck for like the first week, right? Then I figured it out because I went straight to the horse's mouth. I went to Markel and was like, look, I don't know how to get a lot of scenes, can you help me? But in order to get help, you have to ask. I think a lot of people, they just didn't want to ask, or they were too prideful, or I don't know what, but I know it was very hard to figure out at first too, just maybe the wording, or I don't know, in the contract, what, but it went over a lot of people's heads on how to get scenes, and a lot of them did not catch on to like after we were already halfway done filming. Then they caught on how to get the filming done, you know, but a lot of them didn't know. But I feel like if everybody comes back for the next season, now I don't know if that's gonna happen or not, but if they did, I feel like then you would get more from them because now everybody understands the filming process. It was confusing for a lot of people in the beginning. It really was.
Maybe that's a good, maybe I just had an idea. Well, maybe I think moving forward, especially when seeking new cast members who don't have it, well, whether they have experience or not, we see it
Yeah.
matter. Maybe production needs to hold like an orientation.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh,
A lot of the cast members said that they feel like if we would have all got to meet first, like in a meeting before filming, that a lot of the confusion and animosity would have never even been there.
not just that too, just like getting a clear understanding, especially for the girls that are here to show their chase.
Yeah, because they didn't
Uh,
know how to
right.
show it.
So maybe that's something to look for. Actually, I'll drop this right here and now since we're talking about production. Hopefully, you guys are tuning in next Sunday around the same time. I will be having Markel Logan himself joining me for the live review of the season finale. That will definitely be one of the questions and one of the solutions I think that I'll bring to his attention. Like, how can we get the girls together to have these moments where we can still keep the authenticity of the chasing reality aspect, but also keeping it a little bit more uniform. That way, the cast members have the understanding needed, required, and desired to either push their chase or to know how to navigate the scenes.
Yes, no, I do think that that would help. I don't know what they did the past previous seasons. It seemed like, you know, it seemed like some of the past previous seasons, those cast members also had a trouble showing their chase or getting started, you know? Like they had a chase, but they just didn't know how to put it together on a storyboard. You know what I mean?
I hear you. I hear you.
And me, like I asked for help early on. A lot of people might have been too busy to ask for help, or they might not have known that they could. But it did say in the email, if you have any questions about filming, to ask.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And I think sometimes you may have to force that. And
Mhm.
again, going to production, like having bullet points, it doesn't need to be a whole long pamphlet, but just having some bullet points, maybe something, a physical copy of something that you guys can see of what is expected of you, you know,
Yeah.
that way you can, okay, you have a quick reference point of what it is. So that way y'all can just stay in line. That way things make sense and it doesn't seem like everything is everywhere, you know?
Yes, no. And a lot of it was because the cast was divided since episode 2. since me and Zesty's dinner, then the cast really, really divided after that. And I didn't realize that Mother had already canceled Jet Jeff on her own. They had their own issue going on. I didn't know because I wasn't at a lot of their shit that they were filming. But I didn't realize that Mother had already kind of divided the cast, and she she kind of came in there and called out the bullshit and was like, "I'm not fucking with you. You are you," and she was like, "Y'all, I don't see it for y'all." And she made it clear from day one, from the time I met her, that she wasn't fooling around with like more than half the cast.
To this day, and even when I interviewed Jet, like there's no real understanding on what happened with Mother. But what I will say is that from a viewer's perspective, when I watched the scene, like the bowling alley scene, it was definitely given let me conquer and divide and let
Yes.
me put together these group of girls to go against these group of girls.
Yeah.
Like, let me collect all the infinity stones to make sure I can reign supreme.
No, that is what Mother was doing. You could just feel the energy when we all met her at the bowling alley. Like it was given, I'm the queen, and this is how we gonna do this shit. Like,
Yeah.
and I kind of did. I couldn't say nothing to her because shit, I'm reaching for damn twigs at this point just to get another scene with another cast member. So I can't really give my opinion that early on. That's the first time I'm getting invited really to do something.
Why not? If
I
that's
want.
not how you really feel about something or a situation, like you can be great on your own and do your thing. Like you should never have to feel like you have to go along to get along with a bitch.
Yeah, no, I did feel like that. I did feel like that in the beginning. Like, okay, you don't really, you got to just shut the fuck up and go with the flow on whoever's fucking with Donnie or whoever, sees the little bit of potential that you're trying to show, then you just need to automatically, be their friend, even if they're on some bullshit. And I shouldn't have done that because then it kind of dragged me into a lot of shit that had nothing to do with me, just because got an alliance with these people. But I'm not really mad because by the end of the season, Mother really showed a lot of loyalty to me. And I mean, she did a lot of people dirty, but she really did never do me dirty. So I can't speak on what she did to other people.
Right.
But she was always there for me and always supportive. And, me and her never had a falling out. Same with Chloe. Me and Chloe had a couple of words at the Taco Tuesday. Luckily, they cut it out. But me and her did have a couple words then because she said that I said something about a pinata or something that I didn't say. And I was like, I never fucking said that. And that was it. But then after that, me and her really started like,
A
messaging each other.
pinata.
She had mixed up my words and it offended me because at the time I'm on guard because everybody is coming at me for being a quote unquote racist. So I'm like, you're not gonna put
I get it now.
I'm so me and her had a little splat and was like, I was like, don't say that I said that because I didn't. And she was like, yes, you did. And I'm like, okay. So me and her had a disagreement about that. But then after that, I had understood Chloe how she is as a person. She likes to carry. She really should have been the bone collector for real. Because she likes to carry a lot and she likes to have a fun and she likes to just, stir the pot. And I'm not mad at her, but I didn't know that at first. So I was like, don't be putting words in my mouth, bitch. And she's like, bitch. Like,
I ain't
oh
gonna
no.
lie, that does sound like something you would say, girl.
No, and in the green screens they had cut it out, but she was like, Miss Donnie better be lucky I didn't hear her call me a bitch, or I would have twirled her too. But yeah, she thought I was talking to Rio or something. But I was like, don't be putting words in my mouth, bitch. But luckily, production edited that part out because I didn't want people to think me and Chloe had an issue. Because really after the fight with Zesty, she started coming around more and like being there for me, like as a big sister and just like helping me navigate more around. And then she's biracial too, so me and her would have talks about being mixed. And honestly, she really had a lot to do with me just like seeing shit through a different lens. Like she always tells me, don't bring up race shit. Don't even think that way. It's not about race. You can read a bitch without going there. She would she's
No,
just a good pot. She's really a good influence, regardless of her lifestyle, she will really lead you in a good direction.
Speaking of that, speaking of her lifestyle, when it just reminded me of that scene when you were going to get your papas and your lube, honey, hello gone. Shout out to the poppers and the lube, honey. I know that's right.
You know they
Uh,
ban poppers now, so y'all better go get all of them while y'all can.
I still got, as long as they got my little store down the way, honey, I'm good to go, honey, to keep my store active. They got stocked up. The girls can't live, we can't live without our papas, okay?
Okay.
When you were going down there, was it really a sense of how you described when you were when she allowed you to tour the store? Was there really a sense of like, oh girl, I have to clutch my pearls and
No, there was, because I had always heard about the place, right? I had always heard about the place, and I had went to a different one before that to get lube and poppers. It's called New Fine Arts. It's more of a bougie, clean, upscale one. And I didn't know, like, the lady had told me when I walked in there that one time, like, if I wanted to rent a room, and I'm like, what are you talking about? And then she had kind of gave me the rundown, like, you go in there, you watch the movies, you hook up, da 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 da. But I just never had done it or anything. But then let me tell you, the place that I went with Chloe, that is nothing compared to the other place that I first went to. This place is literally like a sex dungeon. Like, it's so bad when you walk in there. Markel was scared to film. I wanted him to get the people standing in the hallway because that's the scariest part.
how to, you can.
That's the scariest part is when you walk through those doors that we walk through, the black doors. It's black, it's pitch black in the fucking hallways too. You can't really see where you're going. There are there are like damn near 100, if not more people standing in the hallways on both sides with their pants down, their dick out, their ass out, people smoking meth, people doing lines off each other's ass. Like, it's just a lot. Like, it was really a lot. Y'all didn't get to see a lot of it, but it was just a lot. And there's just like the part that scared me the most was the people waiting around. Like, they're waiting around, like Chloe said, for the next hot thing to come in so they can try to get them fucked up and then fuck them in the worst kind of way, not a good way. Like, people definitely get assaulted there and taken advantage of in there. Like, it was a disgusting place, and I honestly was gonna try to get that place shut down after that because it's just like I feel like it does no good for the community, and I just feel like there needs to be something done about places like that because it's not spreading anything good. It's spreading bad, and it's really not a good place. Nobody with the right state of mind is going to go in there and partake in the things that are going on in there. It's not a bathhouse. It's like a dungeon. It's literally like a dungeon when you walk in there. And there are like demons standing all around you. I'm telling you, no.
I don't. So you don't watch my other commentary where I'm an openly admitted whore, right? So
I guess I'm gonna have to start. I'm definitely a fan now recently of you. I have
oh.
watched some of your other stuff, but I had to stop watching because you was eating me up. But but I'm definitely gonna keep tuning in. But have you been to some of those places like that?
Last year, I was going through a little something, so I decided to try something new.
Hmm.
So I ended up going to a hole in the wall. It's something like that you and Chloe were at, but it's way worse. And child, I walked in and I was like, girl, no, all these old men, honey, it smelled, girl, when I walked, because I had to use the bathroom too while I was there.
Oh,
Honey, the bathroom, girl, it's like 1,000 girls were douching and didn't flush.
yes.
Girl, it was so disgusting. I had to walk in and walk out, and I said, "Girl, let me just get my poppers and lube and go home." I just wanted to see like what this was about,
Out
and
of curiosity, but
it just was a lot. It was a lot, and I was like, "No, ma'am."
I think a whole documentary, maybe next season, we're gonna really tap in and go in there with the hidden camera and just have to blur some shit
You
out.
can.
But
You have to protect those. So that was what I was understanding. Like I was actually caught off guard when I saw them filming in there for that scene, and
we
I was like,
pushed Markel to do it.
but technically, and I'm not saying it's against the law, but like when you walk into spaces like that, you have a lot of people that don't want their identity to be out there. That's why it's so dark and dim. That's probably why a lot of people be, doing drugs and things of that nature in there because they want to be dumbed down as possible. and not noticeable, but also, and this is why I do advocate for those spaces, because nothing will ever change. It will just change the location and how people do what they do. So I do find it that you have those subgroups of people that need, require, and desire those specific spaces, no matter how filthy they might be to other people. But at least they have somewhere that they feel is safe to go in order to do their filth.
I just feel like, okay, I'm all for like the bathhouses and like, because it's just like I've never been to the bathhouse, but my boyfriend went when he was single and he's told me all about it. It's more just like a fun thing and not so much demonic. But like at this place, I'm telling you, it's just the vibe really scared me. I felt like it wasn't really a safe space. Like you would go there wanting to have fun, but get some
Well,
bad
but think
energy.
about it though; those spaces are for those unsafe bitches. You're not gonna catch someone who's thinking about safety or thinking about like, no, unless you're just there to go buy something and then leave. The back rooms are the back rooms because those people partake in that level of filth. So I
Yeah.
don't think a person like you would. The only reason you were touring is because Chloe was there. You just went there to get poppers and lube and get the fuck on, so you can go home to Agent 47. He can fuck the shit out of you. Hello, God. That's what you were looking for. So, like, you'll never find a sane or safe individual going in there with that. So, again, that's one of the reasons why I do advocate for those spaces, because if they're not going to do it there, they're going to do it somewhere else. And they might end up being in places that make people feel unsafe.
Yeah.
So,
Like in the club restroom.
child, shout out to Chef Messy, who will do it at down to the gas station bathroom.
Wait, who is Chef Messy?
That's Marquise Child from the previous season, the chef.
Oh, I can't stand her. Like,
Girl,
I'm so glad that she was not back on this season because I would have really, that bitch right there was like, he wanted to do what Mother is doing, but it didn't work out the right way. But yeah, I don't see it for him in this whole fake spiritual journey. And now you want to shit on the gays after you had 1,000 cocks in your mouth.
Ooh.
Bitch, no, it don't work like that. You are still gay. Just because now you read the Bible, it can't erase all the sins that were in your body.
And not even just that, honey. Not only is that, honey, she was good at it.
Yeah, and apparently she was eating half the cast's ass on the last season. So I mean, that's what I've heard. I mean, you need to do an interview with Sean and maybe Astro. They'll tell you some shit. But I heard that he was literally like after he was on everybody's heels last season. I mean, you never know. Him and Jet Jeff might have even did something because they had that date and everything.
Oh, I forgot about that. That is true.
But I'm like, okay, well, wait, we're gonna get into episode 11, the one that just came on.
Yeah.
All right.
Do you have any thoughts on the first scene with Mother and Jayla?
I really don't. I really don't have any thoughts on that because I feel like that conversation has already been had 1,000 times before. So I
Yeah.
just feel like the meetup wasn't really needed, but I respect the way Mother moves, so I'm gonna trust her process.
The only thing I have to say is, again, it's repetitive in nature, and this
Yes.
every time. And again, I have my own thoughts, and you're allowed to have yours as well. But as a viewer and as a reviewer, it's difficult for me to keep hearing about this beef with Jet Jeff, because it's like, girl, maybe y'all need to have a scene already, get it out of your system, because to bring it.
But a lot of it is Jet Jeff. I don't know if you caught the live Harviana's live last night or yesterday. Okay, this is how Jet Jeff is. He just as crazy as all of us. Let me tell you, that bitch just better at hiding it and sweeping it under the rug. But that bitch definitely got two personalities, split personalities, because he will be real sweet and nice and make you want to love on him like a little teddy bear, and then he can get really fucking nasty though, and he can say this little prissy attitude and nasty fucking mean girl Regina George attitude comes out of her like it did on live. He slipped yesterday. The bitch had one too many shots, and that real bitch, that real Jet Jeff came out on camera, and I'm so glad he finally did it so people can see how that bitch can go to hell too. That bitch can literally be nasty too. It's just that this has never been caught on camera before. So it's like it was hard to prove a valid point. But Seven Deep was not completely wrong last season. I mean, calling him out of his name like J Lo and stuff like that. Yes, I'm against that. But I'm just like some of the other shit about Jet Jeff being messy and really like just doing too much and really inserting himself into certain situations that got nothing to do with him. Like him and Chloe shouldn't even have a problem, but for some reason, Jet Jeff brings up the fact that Chloe stole this car that she really didn't, and everybody in the fucking cast knows that she didn't steal that goddamn car. We, her gay son is a Grand Theft Auto. I mean, freak. You know, like basically, he's one of the players in the game. He's done this 1,000 times before. You can't help what the people around you do. And yes, sometimes it is the company you keep, but she kicked his ass out of her house into the curb. So she wasn't dealing with none of the foolishness either. She wasn't for none of the shenanigans. As soon as she found out he was back on his bullshit, she made him get his shit and get the fuck out of her shit. So I'm like, you know, for Jet Jeff to sit there and give it up like Chloe is this criminal and like she just does all this shit. No, she's actually really trying to get out of that lifestyle of, you know, like hustling and stuff like that. But one thing, she might sell pussy and a lot of other stuff, but she ain't never been no thief, okay? She gonna get it out the mud. She ain't never took nothing from nobody. That's not in her, you know, portfolio of criminality. Like she ain't that type of criminal. She's about her money, yes, but really you don't get nothing out of stealing. You ain't gonna get no money out of stealing not a goddamn thing.
You know, I have to remain unbiased because your guys' experience is different. Obviously, I love Jet, I love Chloe. Anybody can grow on me at this point. But I will say this, as a viewer, again, we can only go based on what we see. And it's really unfortunate that your guys are having a different experience with someone else. Jet Jeff, well, you may have to come back on the platform, child, to address these situations, and maybe we can do a
Sober.
situation.
Make sure she don't have no drinks before she comes.
Well, maybe she needs to have a drink because it loosens the girl's tongue a little bit.
Too much though. She be getting herself in situations. How is she gonna fight Chloe? Come on now. She wouldn't even fight me.
I don't, I think we're getting too comfortable in these spaces fighting trans women. And I know that people like Rachel, it may seem okay because she's so quick to go for the butch queens and go try to fight all the masculine boys.
But I won't. I won't fight them. Like unless they're just literally pounding on my ass or something. Like, but I'm not gonna like give it up to like, oh, let's meet up and fight. Or when I see you, I'm gonna hit you. No, no, no. But I just think it's
I'm
crazy.
a believer in defending myself in the moment. I'm not gonna plot and plan on a trans girl, but in the moment, if you put your hands on me, bitch, man, woman, child, dog, or cat, the elderly, the retarded, anybody can get this work in the moment.
I'm like, if Chloe's giving it up to Jet that she wants that from him, then Jet needs to fight her back. Like,
well, I just think that it's coming down to there's a miscommunication. A lot of the girls, let's tell the truth. We get into this space. Jet Jeff has been part of the platform for 3 seasons so far. So there could be a little bit of diva, that's going on. So, maybe calm down a little bit and let's see if that's the situation. Because if multiple people are having the same grievances against you, then it might very well be true. But that's a conversation that I think we see a lot of that coming out in the next episode. So,
Oh yeah, the next episode, all I can say is have your binoculars on because you're gonna see a lot. The next episode's gonna be like the longest one of the season. It's supposed to be over an hour long.
The only thing I want to leave with saying with that scene with Jayla and Mother is, I just feel like Jayla, you keep talking about how you're not picking a side, but then you end up picking a side. You totally contradict yourself in a lot of ways. And again, we're spending so much effort on picking sides and doing this, but you have yet to have any legs to stand on your own storyline. You should have been
Yeah, and she might have had her own little. She was going through some shit during filming. I don't want to tell her story for her, but I mean,
well,
even
she didn't tell her story for herself. So
so yeah, it is. I mean, it is her fault. I just feel like a lot of the cast needs 2 seasons to fully produce their story because it didn't come out in a timely fashion last time because they didn't know how to navigate.
I hear you. Moving on to I the only thing I have to say about Rachel with her daughter is too little too late. You started crying. I'm my heart goes out to anybody losing anybody, but that has been your story this season. You lost a bunch of people in New York. Our hearts are with you. You lost most of your time on this season because of those things. Hearts are with you. Prayers up for you and your family. I wish no ill will on nothing, no matter how I feel about a person. But
Yeah.
what killed me with this scene is it was just, in my opinion, just a way to kind of like briefly sprinkle her chase. And you didn't even really do a good job with that. You didn't even do a good job in your confessional explaining your process. You know, you couldn't even get out what color schemes you had planned for your lip gloss. So this scene was dead on arrival, in my opinion, because of that.
Me, just because I know a little bit more about what was going on with her during that time of filming, I just don't want to speak on that scene at all.
Okay.
because because she's like said a lot to us behind the scenes that is gonna come out at the reunion, but I can't say it now.
Mm. Okay. All right. But shout out to Rachel and her daughter, honey. And, you know, we see now the fruits of your labor have paid off. I did see a post that you were at, you have a booth going on for the.
Present day, the product is here.
So I guess that again, but too little, too late because now the season's over with. We're moving on to another season. You
Yes.
lost the firecracker moment where you could have been doing some things. So if you do come back next season, be more prepared when it comes to showing off your business.
Yes.
The scene after that, Professor Charles Xavier and Donny, yourself, you meet at the park. And I did put this in my notes. As a viewer, and again, going back to the repetitive nature of things, I just think y'all need more of a conversation than a rap battle because your issues with Jet Jeff are not rooted in music, in my opinion. It's rooted,
Yeah, they're not.
it's personal.
Hmm.
So having the rap battle, I just felt like was a little, it'd be cute for a scene, but is it really going to accomplish? Because you're both two different types of artists.
Yeah.
So there's no really any comparing who's going to do better in this arena or that arena. I just think that there just needs to be more of an open dialogue and a natural understanding between you two.
Yeah, no, me too. And just wait for, the next episode. You'll probably get a little bit more insight, but no, I feel like present day, me and him still have a lot of unresolved issues. And basically like I told her at the reunion, we're just gonna put it all on the floor, but there's not gonna be any violence.
Right. And I don't think and let me say this too, most, if not all, of the issues that we've seen so far throughout this season amongst all cast members, in my humble opinion, because I come from the very real world, right? And my responses to things happening to me are very real. I don't think anything that I've seen so far warrants hands being placed on each other. All of the things and the issues, the strife and confusion can be hashed out with conversations.
Mhm.
And it is disappointing me and my homegirls when we see the age of the cast, and I'm just like, so we're 30 plus or about to be 30, and this is how we react to things that happen to us?
Yeah, no, it was. And like some of the times we couldn't avoid the physical confrontations because like with Zesty, he wasn't trying to talk about nothing.
And you know what? I'm all for people doing what they got to do. But if that is the case, I'm sorry. We don't need Jocelyn Hernandez to be snorting a whole line of coke, her husband, down to the Love and Hip Hop reunion and beating bitches' ass. You fucking up the thing. You fucking up the church's money at that point. I don't have I don't have. I just. let me stop reading the comments, girl, because I'm misunderstanding some things, and I don't want to have to cuss people out that don't deserve it.
No, you're good.
But I just, I just want people to be able to speak and have conversations. That way we can move forward. Because if you're just going straight for hands and you're trying to fight all the time, that just shows that you lack emotional intelligence.
Child, they want me to get up out and talk about standing. I've been sitting down this whole time. They want me to get up out the window. So, hey, hold on, child. I wasn't reading the comments, but I just got my other phone and
No, you're good.
I was like,
Um,
oh, okay. I didn't know it was bothering y'all. Sorry.
there was one thing that you and Jayla were talking about that caught my attention. We briefly spoke on it in the beginning of this live. Was just you opening up about your the trauma that you endured in having your mother going through drug addiction.
Yeah.
We kind of touched on that a little bit and how it's kind of like had you treat your relationships and things of that nature. Where are you at now with your mom?
Really, like, okay, so this lady is so far gone into the drug world that I don't even think she realizes she has kids. Like, and then all of her kids are grown now. So it's like nobody's calling her to be like, hey, your son's birthday's coming up, or you need to be here for this and that sport event. So she kind of like lost track. Like her and my brother, my older brother, have a close relationship, but it's because my brother is struggling with substance abuse just like her. So they trauma bonded off of that because they both are struggling with the same substance.
Mm.
So they bonded off that. So that's like the only kid she really has a bond with. All the rest of us will try to check on her, but she's just so lost in the sauce. Like she don't even know what's going on. She never like I'll talk to her. She won't ask me about nothing I got going on. She just wants to tell me everything that's going on in her life. I'm like, lady, you have literally been absent from my entire life mostly. Like, don't you think that you should ask me about some stuff or we should talk about the stuff you put me through so we can finally close that chapter? But anytime we try to bring it up to her, she is in full-blown denial. She will even try to gaslight us and say that certain things didn't happen that we know happened for a fact because we were there. So it's just like that lady, I can't even fool with her because it's just like she has gaslighted me my whole life into believing like she wasn't doing anything wrong, but it's like you are. You never were there. You weren't there for us through the moments we needed you to be, which was like through puberty, you know? It's like basically she just like yeah she just got a weak mind and she would rather be the party girl than to be the mom. And so my dad raised us like and my grandma, my dad's mom and my dad's sisters, like they all had a hand on us when we were coming up.
My mother was a real cunt. I was raised in foster care from about 5 or 6, 4 or 5 or 6 around that time until I aged out at 18. And I remember years ago, because I got family that lives in Atlanta, and I went to go visit. My niece was graduating, child, whatever. So my mom was there, and I wasn't told about it. I don't have a relationship with her. So I told the bitch, I was like, bitch, the only way that I'm going to be able to spend any time around you is if you can admit your sins towards your children. Because
Yes.
she's another bitch that she's in denial. She acts like nothing ever happened and she has nothing to answer for. She doesn't want to take ownership. And
Yes.
I was like, can you take ownership? The bitch skipped around all of the truth. And then she was like, if you want the apology, I'll give you the apology just so you can move on. But just know that I don't live my life with any regrets.
Yeah, and that's basically how my mother is too. So it's like whenever it's brought to you like that, you just kind of are like, okay, damn, like she kind of just I know she's alive, but she just doesn't exist in my world. Like she
That's the
never
power of drugs.
yeah, like I'm grateful that she gave me life, but at this point I'm done trying to make a relationship with this lady. I just turned 30 this year. I am done trying with her. Like, it's been it's just been too long. Like, she left when I was like 8, 9.
Mm.
My dad, she went to prison the first time. My dad took her back when she got out. She was around for a couple more years. She was sneaking and geeking, doing it behind everybody's back, just like, and then it just got worse. She went from crack to methamphetamines. And
Mm.
that's when it really went downhill after that for her. Like, she just couldn't control it. She was, shooting up, and
How
she
old
went
is your
back.
brother?
He's 2 years older, so he's 32.
What? This isn't about him, obviously. You could just tell me to mind my damn business. But I'm always interested. Usually, when we see how that has hurt someone and what it's done to your relationships, that'll 9 times out of 10 have the same effect it had on you. I don't want to live there. I don't want to be there. I don't want to experience that. So let me go the other direction. Was something happening in your brother's life to make him just kind of like go down that road?
Well, he had, when we were going through what we were going through as kids, like little kids, he took his trauma differently. Like, he blocked it out, and he was just mute and quiet and never really dealt with the trauma. He acted like it wasn't happening. He was just there. And then all of a sudden, when he was like 16, 17, he got hurt playing football, and he was like this big football player, right? Wanted to go to the NFL, wanted to, he was going to get a college scholarship. He got his whole leg shattered when he was in football, so he couldn't play sports anymore. And I feel like that, with the pressure from my dad pushing him to be a great football player, and then our mom is a complete drug addict and she can't do anything for us. And he just turned to her, like, because he disappointed my dad in a way. Not really, but he thought that he disappointed my dad, right? So he's really like kind of drifted away from this side of the family, and he went at this point, with my mom to finish out his last year of high school. He went back to my mom's house to do that. And my mom, she's a party girl. She has, drugs laying on the table, beer in the fridge, it's a party house. Like, anything you want to get, if you need to escape, she has a way. And basically, he went over there and just, started using with her. They bonded. I blame my mother for my brother's drug use, because there's plenty of times where he's left it alone. He moved down.
Misery loves company.
He moved down here with me and my dad for a while. He was just going back between my place, my dad's place. But he was down here for a while, and she got him to go back down there. And now he is like so far down the rabbit hole himself. Like,
Y'all gonna have to cut him off, baby, because he could be only trying to visit y'all to get some money to bring back to her so they can be on the drug path. We ain't got time for that.
no, I know. And the only time they want anything, I mean, like, the only time they call is when they want something.
Yeah.
Like, they'll start off, "Hi, how you doing?" And then it leads up to them wanting money. And once you send it, you don't hear from them.
You won't.
It's like you don't get a happy birthday, good morning, nothing. You don't get nothing. So it kind of hardens your heart a little bit, to where you just don't even. It's like, if my own mama betrayed me, who can I trust? That's how I feel
Why do you think
sometimes.
I'm such a bitch?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, if the lady who pushed you out of her orifice does not believe in you, then who does? Like, it's just had a psyche on me. But really, being on the show helped me in the biggest way. I'm so thankful for the opportunity, because I had to face these issues head on, like, in the worst kind of way.
No, I hear you. I attribute that because when you were talking earlier about therapy and what motivated you, it seems as if being on the show, cast members like Chloe and Mother and whoever else you pointed out that was stopping you in your tracks when you were going scorch earth mentality on the girls, it seems as if that really prompted you to kind of do some self work. But that coincides with the type of person that's willing and ready. So I definitely commend you for doing the work and being able to come from such horrific circumstances, because let's tell the truth, what's happening to your brother is not unheard of. People that come from drug addiction or that kind of environment, are more susceptible to that. So we may not be able to save them all, but I'm glad that you and your dad and everybody else that was in the household, they were able to break free from that and not turn to that. I just hope that your brother is free from this as soon as possible, because they're going to kill each other by
Yeah,
accident.
they are. They are. And then, there's times where they're coming down and they're getting violent with each other, throwing things across the room at each other and cussing each other out. And I'm just like, this is not going to end good. My dad, we're trying to get him in rehab now, but I'm just like, child, we might be making another appearance on another show, aka Intervention.
Is
Like,
your brother gay or straight?
he's pansexual. Like, he doesn't identify. He has three baby mothers, but he's dibbled and dabbled in the community. Me and him have definitely went out to the gay bars, and he's definitely went home with a person or two.
Because I was gonna say too, like, you just defeated my whole little speech, but I'll say it anyway. I was gonna say too, like, you gotta be surprised, like, when you that bad on some drugs, girl, you'll do anything for a hit.
And he did. He definitely did. He definitely was down here, tricking off and going with whoever he had to go with to get whatever he needed. And that was another reason. Like, there was a time he came and visited. Me and my dad were worried because his phone died. He had no charger on him. And he disappeared here in Dallas. Mind you, he is from Oklahoma, a small town. He don't even know how to navigate the city properly. It took me like 2 or 3 years to learn how to navigate Dallas. And so I'm like, come to find out, we found him in South Dallas in the worst neighborhood in Dallas at a dope house, like getting high as a kite, scared out of his mind. It's just, yeah, it's been a lot with him. We haven't gave up on him yet. We're still trying, but he just thinks that he keeps saying that God is gonna save him and God has his back, and we're just like, okay, it's the drugs. The drugs have got you completely crazy right now.
Child, when you high as a kite, you'll believe anything is God.
They do. He said, I'm just like, it's weird how when people go to jail or when they get high, now they believe in God.
Yeah, no, baby, this not. God is the people that's being sent to you to help to try their best to convince you to go down a very different path, not down a self-destructive path. And your mother is really going to hurt herself. And when she finally, if she ever finally wakes up and realizes the error of her ways, and something happens to her son,
Yes.
she's gonna really feel that. And I hope that people understand that you're getting your son involved in your filth because misery loves company, or you don't want to feel alone. There are spiritual consequences to that behavior.
There are. And we don't have nothing to do with her. My dad regularly calls this lady and cusses her out from
I
head
don't
to
blame
toe.
him.
Like, he tells her all the time, if something happens to him under your watch, the whole side of this family is gonna be on your ass. Like,
Okay, so do you guys have garage space now?
yes, we
So
finally got it like 2 months later. We
okay,
got
so is this in an area where people can hear screams?
in an area where people can hear screams. I would say no. It's actually kind of in the rough side of town, on the rough side of
Good.
town.
This is what you do. We love your brother, so I'll offer my services and the rest of the Justice League and the Avengers. Child, the Avengers, hello God, we will assemble in your honor. We will kidnap your brother and we'll bring him to one of your garage sites. We will play loud music, hello God. We will tie him to a chair and sweat the drugs out of him.
This is what he needs, though, really.
Because sometimes you got to take the hard way, because it's really what it is that addiction is hitting. He has to sober up, like 30 days of drying the fuck out in order
Yes.
for him to realize. Because as long as they're still fiending for it and coming down from it, there's going to be this incessant need to want it more and more to relieve that particular pain. But once we can tie you up and sweat you out, child, hello God, that's might need to be what happened. Because what I fear is that the next time we see you, where we have a because I already know if there's another season, you're definitely coming back. I,
Thank
I
you.
I don't want our next conversation to be talking about him in the past tense.
Yeah. And it's getting really dark, really,
Because let me
really,
tell you
really
the truth.
fast.
Where I work at, I deal with teenagers. I used to work with adults. And I've been in this industry for 13 years. When I tell you from both sides of the fence with adults and teenagers, when these people have left our care, it breaks my heart to know, especially nowadays, drug dealers don't care about the pure form of anything. They care
Yeah,
about the money. Fentanyl is being laced in these girls' drugs. That one hit, you ain't waking up, baby.
yeah. No, a lot of girls in this community in Dallas have already. This is what made me stop even experimenting or having a good time with anybody because I knew people that I used to work with at the strip club. There was a couple of dancers. They would come, the management would get there the next day and tell us that this boy died from a drug overdose of fentanyl. It was like two or three the whole time I worked there. It
Mm.
happens a lot. It happens more than people know it. And for me, it happened like close to home. Like it was with the boys that I worked with at the club. So it was just more scary for me because we kind of all got we kind of were doing this drugs in the same area, this in room, the strip club. So I'm like, if they got a hold of some shit, I could be the next person to do a little happy fun bump and then not wake up.
And when it comes to fentanyl, it just takes a very little bit, like a microscopic piece, that'll send your ass to the afterlife.
No, it will. I watched this thing where the guy was showing the different drugs in the tubes, and it was literally like a grain of salt for fentanyl that can wipe your ass out.
I've seen it in person. I didn't even see the actual powder. I saw the person touch it and they fell out. Girl, we had to hit their ass with like 3 doses of Narcan just to bring them back to life.
Damn, and that's some scary, scary shit. Drugs just ain't worth it, people. If y'all listening out there, I don't care what y'all think Donnie does. Donnie don't do that because I'm not risking my life to do a little bump or a little nothing. No, I'm not. I might drink some Hennessy, some hen doggy dog, and light up a blunt, but that's about
Hello.
it. And sometimes you got to be careful where you get your weed from because I heard some people was lacing their weed with fentanyl to make it stronger, like sprinkling it in the bag and shit.
That's that freebase shit. I ain't got time for that, honey. All I want is my Mother Earth in her
Yes.
purest form.
Purest form. I
That's
don't
all I
care.
want.
Yeah.
Period.
That's why it's just safe to get it from the dispensary straight on. I still got that good Oklahoma medical card.
I know that's right. I got a medical card too here for Florida, baby.
Yes.
Changed my life. It's cheaper and it's better quality and
And
it's a
it's
trusted
safe.
source.
Yes,
Hello.
safe.
Amen. Child, this is long, but hey, we gotta go there.
It's cool.
I do definitely want to move on to this scene because I do have a lot to say about this scene with Lamont and his girlfriend.
Oh, Lord have mercy. Okay, let's go.
Um, so Lamont and his girlfriend, they go for a walk, and Lamont opens up about how he Lamont wants her to open up about how she feels about his sexuality. She admits that initially in their relationship, she wasn't supposed to fall in love with him. They were just going to be having fun. So that indicates to me that you guys are in love. This scene really took me out because I had multiple thoughts just pop up. Because for one, knowing what we know now that what happened between Lamont and Rachel, right?
Mhm.
And then taking into consideration the scene itself. Me as a viewer and me being a non-dumb bitch, because I'm not. First of all, it felt like to me Lamont was trying to give her an out of the relationship.
I mean, the way I took it too is like, or he's basically telling her, like, it is what it is, take it or leave it type of deal. Like, either you're gonna, if you don't like it, you can hit the road. That's how I took it.
And it was giving a little bit of like, I do feel like he was low key trying to give her what she needed to say that she was done with the relationship.
Yeah, like an out, like you said. But I guess that I don't know, but ain't no dingling good enough for me for somebody to sit up in my face and tell me what he told her, and I stay.
And it was also serving like, not only did he lie and leave out a bunch of shit, I can already tell that homegirl was aware of something because of the way that she questioned him about certain things. And
Yeah.
the way that he answered. I also want to say this. I did watch TTV, and he did share their little story time video or whatever talking about the situation. But I
Mhm.
also got to let people know, please utilize your gifts of discernment when it comes
Yes.
to reading a situation. These people set up here after the fact trying to act like they were not bothered about Rachel coming to the girls and telling the tea, and that
Oh, but
would have been.
it was a lot. It was a behind the scenes, there was damn near an explosion about this tea coming out.
So my thing is, if y'all claim to not have cared that much, why was there so much effort and energy into caring about it?
I think a lot of it was just to kind of, like you said, make it seem like it's not that big of a deal to the public. But I mean, I don't know. I really don't know because he had brought her to the bowling alley too, and I've been confused on that relationship since the beginning. I ain't gonna lie, but I just realized that it wasn't my business or my place to speak on. So I just kind of was like just watching, kind of like y'all were, and just kind of keeping my opinion to myself. But I do think, me honestly, I would feel bad for Lisa more, the girl, the lady involved, because she got to deal with a lot. Like she got to deal with a lot.
Well, that's her fault because as we saw in the clip played by TTV, she's in on it too. The only reason you're in on it, and I've been a gay man my whole life, which means that I've been purview to a lot of the shit women go through. Women do not like to be embarrassed, so they will
Mhm.
do other things that embarrass them, like sitting here trying to save face and trying to say, well, you could have been a third. Let me tell you something, baby. She couldn't have been a third because in the moment the cheating was happening, you were not aware of it. He went behind your back to get some sucky sucky from Rachel. He did not. He did not invite her into the bedroom with y'all because and this is how he told on himself. In that same scene, he sits there and says, hey, after it's all said and done, let's invite someone over. I know they got to be masculine because I know you're not going to be eating no pussy. So at the end of the day, you wouldn't have invited Rachel into your bedroom with her because you want a masculine presence.
She clocked his T with that and let us know that he's kind of really a bottom when he's with the man.
Girl, you could
Because
tell.
yeah, no, I take it. I think this is how a lot of the men are that go both ways. When they're with a woman, they're the top. And when they're with the men, they're the bottom. And that's just what he always gave to me. I don't know. It's not my business really. But if you want my opinion, I feel like, yes, they invite people in the bedroom, but it's to dig both of them down.
That's exactly what I'm thinking. Girl, your turn. A pray tell, girl. Hitting a pray tell, your turn, my turn. Girl, stop. Now he taking turns on y'all.
Because why do they got to be masculine? That's what kind of threw me off. She kind of clocked his T and was kind of exposing some shit with that.
He's like, you
Because
know what I like.
yeah, and I'm like, okay,
But my thing is, in
no.
the same breath, you sat there and said you wanted to protect her and act like you didn't want her to be involved in this promiscuous relationship. You didn't want her being promiscuous in the streets. But then after this lying ass come to Jesus moment about the Rachel situation, you want to tell her, hey, we can invite someone in the bedroom. Like there was a lot of contradiction, and it was very man driven, very, very masculine, bastard, male driven conversation. And then what really took the cake for me when he was like, I'm the only man on this cast.
Oh, and you should have seen me commenting in the post when I put everybody on this cast as a bottom. And everybody, like, don't sit here and play like you are a top on this cast, and it never gave that. It gave masculine, but it always gave butch queen to me.
I could see
Always.
her. Those short, buff girls, they love to get bent over.
I think, he would make a little cute bottom, like, okay, girl, like, don't own it. I'm so sick of this bottom shame. If you like to take dick, you like to take
Take it.
dick.
We need y'all
Like,
out here.
stop thinking, oh, because I get called a bottom, there's something wrong with it. But like I said, everybody on the cast was really a bottom. I don't know why he said that, but it blew my mind when he said that too. I was like, I don't know. That shit blew us out the water. The whole cast was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, I was over it, and I was like, that's very disrespectful. And on top of that, in the same breath, you're
Yeah.
telling your girl that you prefer masculine men in the bed.
To
So it's
me,
just
if
like,
I was
girl,
his girl, I would be confused. Like, okay, so you like masculine, but I'm feminine. So how do I correlate in this situation? Like, what do I do?
it's definitely serving, and I don't want to be disrespectful to her, but it's serving dumb bitch vibes when you sit here and you sit here and said that you weren't looking for anything serious, then you fell in love with him. And once you get to that point, then you need to set the ground rules for what you're looking for in your relationship. Although I admire this level of communication, something about this scene was definitely off. Not just the fact that he was lying to her about the whole situation, but as he was trying to have this male-driven alpha kind of mindset moving forward, like it's either like you said earlier, it's either this way or the highway. I wasn't feeling that shit.
Yeah, no, I think to me, she embarrassed herself. I felt bad. I felt really bad for her, honestly, because I was just like, girl, do you not wake up? Like, do you not see what's going? My man knows he could never, because
Mm.
his ass then got a couple close calls to where he couldn't deal with me no more. But you know, like you got to set them standards in the beginning. I feel like she thought Lamont was really cute. He's probably younger than her, so she felt like she had to do whatever he wanted to do to, you know, keep him happy. And so she swept a lot of shit under the rug. I'm sure she has seen multiple messages in his phone, or you know, she knew about shit that he didn't know that she knew.
I
That's
mean,
just how black women are. Like they be knowing some shit before it even comes out.
but then what kills me too is in the same breath, y'all will sit there and take it while putting yourself. Ooh. He'll be back, y'all. Yeah, girl, I was just disgusted with that whole Lamont scene. Like, girl, and I wonder, is anybody going to get a chance to interview him? I'm not reaching out because I really don't care, but I do care to the point where I would love to hear what his response would be. You know, if he has a response.
I accidentally hit the little leave button. My bad, my bad, my bad.
No, 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 you're good. No, you're fine.
But yeah, I just think that scene was a mess. It caused a lot of unnecessary confusion. And
Yeah, and like Spicy Original said, I've been a dumb hoe myself in the past, so I understand what good dick can do and how it can be a driving force and making mistakes and sticking beside a sorry ass.
yes, it will literally have you crazy.
But nowhere in my 30s have I made that mistake.
No, you learn, like, girl, she's clearly over 40, no shade. And I'm like, girl, you should know better now. Like, you know, she's probably had her heart broken a few times. Like, you should see this shit coming a mile away before it even happens. And you should like cut it in the bud from the beginning. Like, why would you let this man bring you on TV and embarrass you?
Sorry, it doesn't bode well. And two, for our community, I'm just trying to understand, like, even though y'all might be in this open type of relationship, you understand and you respect his, bisexual nature, but aren't you concerned as a woman that he's spending too much time in gay spaces? At least from a viewer's perspective, you're on a gay platform. Most of your clients seem as if they're, part of the community. You choose to bring men to the bedroom, because not once have I heard you say you bring women to the bedroom to feature with your girl. You're only bringing men. So that just lets me know that you're more on the.
He's trying to fill a void, right? That's how I take it. Like if you're with a woman and you're still bringing men in the in the bedroom, that means you're like trying to fill a void for what you want. And I just feel like Lamont should live his best life and fully hit the ground running and be that girl.
But you know what? Like most barbers, I think as a man he ain't shit.
Oh,
He moving like a lot of these so-called straight niggas move, especially barbers. Like people that are in that world for some reason, like every time I went to a barber shop, the niggas cutting hair, they talking out they mouth about women and gays, and they just really they don't have no stable foundation. You can they used car salesman just spews out of their mouth, child, and it's never a respectful nature when it comes to them. And it just really made this. I never really saw it for Lamont because I always looked at him as like background. But now when you open your mouth and I saw you in the scene with this girl and then how you're not even trying to address the Rachel stuff publicly, because she out here speaking her truth. We need you to come out here and speak your truth too. Sorry you're in it, and sorry that this is the only thing that's actually made you interesting this season, but it is what it is.
Yeah, no, it is what it is. A lot of us don't know him personally. Like my dad knows him better than a lot of the cast because my dad goes to him to get his hair cut. So I don't know. Like he didn't open up to my dad about a lot of shit that he ain't open up to none of us about.
So can I ask you a question too? There's a certain level of comfortability that we're not used to seeing in our community that it seems like your family has.
Yeah.
How do you, I know that must be such a good feeling for you, and especially knowing that a lot of us will never experience that. How does that feel? Knowing that your family and the men presence in your life respect and love you and show up for you.
Really, it's because I feel like as gay people, we kind of have to give our families, no choice. Like there is no like room for them to grow. Like you're either going to accept me now or you're never going to see me again. That's how basically laid it out to my family when I came out. Like they weren't really in shock though, because like my dad said, they caught me playing in my mom's makeup when I was like 5. I was always playing with my sister's Barbie dolls, so they always knew something was different. So it wasn't fully a shock. They were more worried about me catching a bunch of diseases and stuff because back then in the mid 90s there was a lot of miseducation about the gay community.
Mm-hmm.
So they
Yeah.
feared the worst whenever I came out, like I was going to be dead in a couple of years from AIDS, or I was going to be raped, or something weird shit was going to happen to me. Like they just feared the worst, but they really were always accepting of it because I kind of just gave them no choice. Like
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't let them say, like, sometimes, straight people will use, FAG, that word. And they knew around me that word could never be said. Like, and they just naturally started to understand the community because they seen how I was navigating the gay spaces, and they seen, it's actually not what everybody says. It's not one big fuck fest. It's not, you can be you can navigate this space without going to the bad parts, the musty dark road alleys, like they don't know, I went out on my own and experienced all that by myself, but it wasn't for me and I never went back. So they didn't have to worry about that. But they were just more worried about what was going to happen to me in this space, but they always were accepting because they knew it was going to be a problem from the time I was a little boy. One time I got suspended from like first or second grade for kissing a boy on the playground. Yeah. And he went and told the teacher on me.
Did
And
your
then
did your brother come out as pan before or after?
he kind of got exposed and had no choice but to come out because one of his baby mamas, she found some messages and pictures and stuff, and she kind of went on Facebook and just let it all out. And he kind of just had no choice. I just basically told him like this: don't care, just live in your truth, take care of your kids,
So
and
you
still
felt
be.
that way too? Y'all never had a private moment where you
Nah, I knew, I always knew, like, growing up, something was different with him too, just because the way he was with women was just kind of different. Like, he kind of objectified women. He
mm,
wasn't really in the emotional space with them, and to this day, he's still not. I really feel like a lot of his drug use comes from him being in denial about his sexuality and being scared of what other people are going to think if he fully comes out as gay.
uh,
But I've seen him in the gay spaces and he's more happy and more himself.
is he like, can you describe his personality? Is he like a queen or is he
No, he gives trade.
oh, okay.
He gives trade, but there are a few moments where if he's around the girls, that he will might have a slip up, a flick of the wrist. They all, trade be having a slip up sometimes where they get that little Yonsei in them and be like,
Let the right song come on at the club. So
yes.
they
But for
finna
the
play
most
that.
part, he's masculine presenting, and when I bring him into the clubs with me, all the girls want him because they think he's trade. Like.
Okay. All right. Okay. The Reckless Dolls event. I know that you weren't there. I'm not mad that you weren't there. I was very vocal in some of my reviews about Rio. You make up with somebody in one breath, the next scene you're talking shit about them and telling them that they can't come. And then at the very last moment in the scene at the Reckless Dolls for this episode, you then say, oh, the girls can come, but they just gotta pay.
Yes, which I took highly offensive. Like, I didn't really, whenever me and him were going back and forth in the messages, I didn't let him know that it bothered me about the $20, but I knew from that very moment that he was still on some weird type of timing and that it might not be safe or the smartest thing for me to do is to go to his party. Because me and him were talking all day up until his event. Because I kind of, Markel and everybody was asking me to come. And I kind of was just like, like I was on in the middle on the fence, like, do I want to go? Me and him just got in a fight 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. Like, do I really want to go? And then I just started, I asked my dad, and my dad was like, fuck no. He's like, what do you look like going to this boy's event? And he just popped you in your mouth a couple weeks ago. He was like, it's way too soon for that. He's like, I'm not saying be his worst enemy, but y'all don't need to be in the same space right now. And so my dad kind of coached me out of not going. And then my boyfriend was like, you're not, he's like, if you go, I want you to know that they're going to jump you. Like, he just was trying to talk some sense into me. Like, don't think that it's going to go your way. And luckily I didn't go because from what I heard about it, there was a couple people there waiting to confront me about a bunch of bullshit. Xavier was one of them and Londi was the other. And I'm just like,
Why?
okay. They wanted to confront me about something. I don't know. It never got to happen, but fast forward, you see me and Xavier on live on Markel's, and she didn't have nothing to say. She basically was like, there's not an issue. And I'm cool with
Well,
that because I
I
never.
think. Well, I know why, because she's trying to get on next season. But that's another conversation.
And
But
I'm like, girl, okay, well, pick your storyline through somebody else. You got Jet Jeff. That's supposed to be your home girl. Why ain't she helping you get on? She got all this pull and leverage on the show. Why don't you ask your good Judy to help you get on? That's all you really got to do. But y'all want to take the same route I took. It doesn't work for everybody. It doesn't work for everybody. Everybody has their own route. They have to take what works for you to get in. But all I will say is, yeah, I might have did a lot of clout chasing in the beginning, but I eventually was like, okay, you made it. You don't got to do that no more. But a lot of people, they don't do that. They get on and they still do it. I don't know. I honestly think that Xavier would have been a good addition for the show, but that's not my decision. But yeah,
yeah,
I
I think people need to be mindful of how their character would be looked at. Is if you are noticeably going against someone who you call a friend and a current cast member of the show, and you're caught in a situation where it seems as if you're going against them, even if you do get on the show for the next season or whatever, I'm automatically gonna look at you crazy.
mhm.
That's how I roll because I believe in character and what you show me. You can't be doing music videos and verses with somebody, calling them your friend, and then the next minute you trying to build your storyline between someone who has a beef with your friend. That's just that look. The optics of that just look weird to me.
Yeah, no. And the rest of the cast had checked her and told her to. Production had shut that down. They was like, even if Donnie does come, he's not gonna have a conversation. Y'all can have a conversation, but it will not be filmed.
Okay,
So
no,
that kind of shut down all of the bullshit. And moving forward, we didn't have any issue. I didn't have any issues with either one of them
okay,
because like you said, it probably was to get on the show. And I'm not mad at them for doing that, but bitch, you ain't gonna do it off of me.
all right. No, I hear you.
Because
Will
it's like I obviously went through enough bullshit, and then here y'all go. Right whenever I'm trying to be back into the space with everybody, y'all are trying to confront me about some bullshit.
yeah, it's weird. Um, in this scene, I know something different now because I was a part of the live last night with Harviana, but as a viewer, I still have to stand on business and say this. When it came down to seeing Jet Jeff not only show up to this event, but also seemingly as if you weren't your usual self. I know now that Rio and Zesty had a private conversation with Jet Jeff. I guess they smoked in the car and they had a conversation. That was not filmed. That was not shown. As it relates to the scene, as a viewer, I just really wasn't here for that energy because I'm not supporting any bitches who tried to confront me. And not only that, later on I heard you had a fish plate in your car ready to throw it at Jet Jeff. So I'm just like, I would have rather Jet Jeff serve your type of energy and not have shown up at all because these bitches clearly don't respect you. They surely don't see it for you. They were ready to jump you and throw a fish plate in your face. And now you're at their event. I just wouldn't have been playing with those girls like that, to be honest with you.
No, and yeah, I wouldn't have either. But once again, Jeff says I do anything for a moment. I'm like, girl, you kind of do anything for a moment too. But no, I just feel like he just makes himself look stupid when he does stuff like that. Like you let these boys try to jump you in a closed warehouse, basically. Like I heard it was going to be way worse than just a fish plate, but that's what I heard behind the scenes. I heard that it was originally going to be a setup and that she was going to get locked in that building and the fuck beat out of her.
Let me tell you something. I'm going to say this yet again. If they would have did Jet Jeff that way, I would have been there on the
Yes.
on the wings of a gay horse, bitch, and
Bring
I
me
was there
a
ready to
soda or
roast
juice.
post those cunts because I do not condone that level brand of planning ahead to
Hmm.
hurt someone, to intentionally jump them or hurt them because your feelings are hurt because you possibly heard that he said you was trying to sling these fish plates on unwanting people.
Yeah, one of the other cast members had told me that that they heard that it was originally going to be way worse, but they spared him because of how he is as a person. Like he's not confrontational.
They spared him. Wow. Girl, the way I would have had the girl, I don't like stuff like that. I'm not from the jumping era. I'm about handling business myself. I'm not going to be pre planning how I'm going to
But I'm
bombard.
just like, okay, but it was a little, I understand. I don't think they have to jump him, but I do understand them being upset with him because you went to one friend, you went when they had the ice skating rink, remember him and Zesty? Well, what wasn't filmed is Jeff was telling Zesty, talking shit about Rio, saying that Rio is a cloud chaser and that he begged to get on the show and that he's begging for bookings or he just was basically downplaying Rio's position.
Was he wrong, though? Because from what I heard, separate from Jet Jeff, is that that's not all
And kisses?
that's actually real. Is that Agent 47?
Yeah. Say
Hey,
hi, babe.
Agent 47, how you doing?
He don't want to say hi. He's all shy. I'm like,
It's
boy.
okay, I know.
But yeah,
Um,
he was bringing me something to drink. But yes, I'm just like, okay, I don't really know what happened with that fallout. That fallout, honestly, between them three caught me by surprise because I was thinking they all was cool this whole time. Even Chloe said the same thing. They kept that beef under wraps during filming because we didn't even know that they did that until like literally like a couple weeks ago.
I'm just, I don't like stuff like that because, like, when y'all do that, and it's just like, spend that energy on doing what you need to come here to do. It's the same logic I'm going to spew to anybody in situations. All of this drama, everybody doing all this stuff, but where is the chase? What are you bringing a value to the show? And at this juncture, like, we're towards the end. Y'all are just really that mad? Like, come on now. Y'all got to showcase your shit. Be mad at him later. That's just how I'm looking at it. And I know what people are mad at, whether he said it or not. People would like you to own up to what you're saying when you're confronted. But what if it was if he did say that, it's not far gone. Because from what we've seen as reviewers, and people give us tea all the time. Whether
Yeah.
we choose to share that tea is different.
Mhm.
There's a pattern of behavior when it comes to Rio trying to force people to purchase or partake in his business.
I didn't know that, but somebody from the previous season, last season, had DM'd me and was like, I don't know why you're taking up for Rio, because I had posted on my story that posting your business or your song is not like, I don't think it's begging. I think it's like promoting.
No, that's fine. But when you're
But then
sharing,
one of the fans immediately like was in my DMs and was like, "No, you're wrong. Rio was begging everybody," and I don't know. I guess there's a lot of shit going on behind the scenes that I don't know about.
they say she's a beggar, and she sat on these platforms talking about some she wants to get paid for her interviews. Like, girl, who are you? And you're not even one of the main girls. And sorry, it's not worth it. So coupled with that, and from what people are saying and showing their receipts of him being a beggar, it shows that you are indeed a beggar.
Well, I just wish the only thing I wish, okay, even if it is true, I just wish that Jet Jeff would stand on business and be like, okay, like when they had confronted him, I wish he just would have been like, yes, I said it, and I said it because of this.
Mm,
Then everybody would have been like, okay, we get it. But the fact that he got scared because he knows Rio will fucking punch you in your mouth when that he got nervous, and I don't blame him because there's been times I was nervous after that around them hoes because I'm like, are they going to attack or not? So
yeah,
like, but you could tell Jet Jeff got extremely nervous whenever Rio switched the narrative in the middle of the conversation. Was like,
yeah,
so I heard you were talking shit. I just think Jet Jeff's not a confrontational person, and not only that, he is a survivor of domestic violence from a previous partner, and I didn't know that at first
yeah.
till recently. So me being a survivor of domestic violence too, I completely understand where he's coming from and like why he is not a confrontational person. Me, I took the other road though. Like it turned me into a savage. But with some people, it makes them shut down when that's happening. Like when someone's yelling in their face, they don't know how to deal with it. They just shut down completely. So I think he kind of got a dose of his own medicine that he did to me at our sit down. How I just shut down, and he kind of was like,
I do want to let the record show that when I interviewed Jet Jeff recently, he did say some very good things about you and your guys' growth throughout the season. So and it was very genuine in nature. I can tell a fake bitch, how Jet Jeff delivered it. He did speak very well
We
of
are
you.
definitely in a way better space now. Like there is no beef with him. It's just I just want to ask him about him saying my dad was a clout chaser. And I just want to clarify for the world, at the reunion, why my dad was there at every fucking scene. And I just think sometimes he carries the topic a little longer than needed. And it's just a sensitive topic for me, like my dad, because he was a single father and he was my sole provider. And it's just like, okay, girl, you can't do that. Like, leave the
I'm sorry.
daddies.
I'm
I'm just like,
sorry.
leave the daddies out of it. I wouldn't have cared if it was you or another commentator because
No,
that's
I get
y'all's
it.
job. But I'm like, Jeff, you are a rapper. You didn't have no business even speaking on my dad at all. Like, speak on me all you want. My dad did nothing to you. And there was plenty of times my dad told me to leave your ass alone. So you should really be thanking my dad.
No, the reason I'm smiling and laughing is I have a very visual mind. So every time you bring that up, it just goes back to what you thought he said, that your dad was a camel.
And then look, I'm looking at my dad and I'm like, okay, I kind of see the similarities. So bitch, why but you ain't gonna point it out, bitch. That's where I gotta fit it. I'm like, you said this to all your fans and the viewers of the show. I'm like, so I got to somewhat check you for my dad on it. Like, I have to. It's like, girl, you left me no choice, Jet. Me and Jet were in a good place. Me and him talked about this briefly, and he was like, we were in a good place. I'm like, I know, but I didn't know. It looks like I'm just now bringing it up, but it's because I just now found out. I didn't watch Jet Jeff's after show. So I didn't know. And then here recently, people were sending me the clips of him saying stuff about my dad. And I'm just like, I didn't know because we're all in a group chat together and he never gives it up like that. Like it's always, cordial. And so I'm just like, where did this come from with my dad? Like during filming, he never said nothing about it either. So I'm just like, it just seemed like, I don't know. I just told him, I was like, it just was given a little bit of jealousy that I have of my dad supporting me hardcore. And I can't control what nobody else's dad does, but my dad wants to live vicariously through me. I can't do nothing about it.
No, I get it. I'm, looking back and just seeing everything. And like I said, I definitely commend. There's a separation of, okay, we're here for you, but we're not going to involve ourselves in your
Mhm.
process here. We're just going to be that moral, emotional support that you're going to need. So I respect it. And I'm glad that they're able to, differentiate between, okay, this is my son, but he's also a cast member on this show. So let us conduct ourselves accordingly. Um,
But Jet Jeff is, he is a driven person. He is talented. He does work hard behind the scenes on his stuff. He's very like a perfectionist. Like he won't put anything out unless it's like I'm telling you, full fledged the way he wants it. I worked with him before on the song, so I know. Like he will, if it has his name on it, he wants it to be perfect. So I will give him that. I just feel like I want like me and him had a conversation. I just want him to focus on the music. Like,
mm.
come, let's, girl. We barely seen you do any music this season. Yes, you had the one song, but normally we get a lot from Jet Jeff, and I just felt like this season we didn't get what we were supposed to get from him. Like,
Well, you know what? I'm going to be honest with you. I think that if the cast presented themselves the right way and it wasn't just you and him with the music and everybody else was also showing a chase, it would have been perfect. So, in my opinion, maybe he was trying to, and I'm not going to say he was trying to downgrade himself, but like, okay, there's like 9 other people on this show. Maybe I don't want to do too much and they don't film it because there's so many people on here with promise.
mhm.
And
Yeah,
it's,
no, I definitely thought something. Maybe he was going through a breakup or relationship troubles or something because it just didn't give the normal Jet Jeff chase or ambition this time around for me. But he'll if there is another season, I'm guaranteeing he'll probably be back. So, I have faith that I just know this. I know this season woke the monster up out of him too. So I've been seeing him around and the way he moves, and it's just a different girl. Like I'm excited to hear the music because I'm like, okay, if he's giving this energy now, the music's got to be fantastic when it comes out.
okay.
So no, I mean, I heard that he's working on new music, and I'm proud of him. And I just want him to stay focused on the music. And who gives a shit about all the other stuff that is bringing you down? Because then somehow me and him keep getting mixed back into the shit because our names are on each side. So it's just like somehow we end up back in each other's face, back with another issue that really isn't even a big deal. But I'm just like, I just want him to be mindful when he speaks on me because I am when I speak on him. So I'm just like, I just want you to be mindful and be like, I'm not going to talk about his family because I know it's a very sensitive subject.
Well, I will say in our interview, he did speak very highly of you. He did not try to bow down or cower, being disingenuous. He was very genuine in the way that he was talking about you, and especially when you're showing your chase and your music and things of that nature. Speaking of that, a moment that kind of pissed me off with Rio's Reckless Dolls event was I was thinking to myself, we're filming, this is for the show. All cast members need to be present, and we also need to be picking from cast members that can be a great add-on to whatever a situation is. So, like I talked about in previous episodes about how I felt about, now we saw it with Jayla, where you're a content creator, you're a marketing type of person, work with these people who have these alleged products and help them and guide them in the right direction. That way you can be that person that films multiple scenes with multiple cast members. This event, I really do feel like he should have had you and Jet Jeff do your songs. Because if you think about it, I don't know what the next episode holds, but if this is the last time we see the Reckless Dolls event, we got 5 seconds of it, and the rest is just the drama outside. So my thing is, maybe we would have been focused on the actual event if 2 of our fellow cast members were artists on the docket.
And I remember they had said something. If you go back to Jet Jeff, where the setup happened, right, where
Mm-hmm.
they set him up or whatever. If you go back to that scene right there, Jet Jeff had brought when Rio had brought up he was having an event. Jet Jeff had made a comment like, "And you didn't book me."
Mhm.
That's when I knew something. When I seen that scene, I was like, "Oh, okay." And yeah, no, it just showed me that Rio wasn't really fucking with Jet Jeff from the start. I knew why I didn't get to come and perform. Like it made sense, but to not have Jet Jeff, who was one of your allies on the cast, not perform, I thought was crazy too. But it let me know like he just doesn't really see it for Jet.
Well, again, I understand that part, but I do think that for the show and
It
for
would have
filming
been better.
purposes, because it's called Chasing Dallas and Chasing Reality. So it just would have. Sometimes we have to remove our personal bias and do what's best for the show and best for the moment. And I know, who are we to tell y'all who you can have and cannot have? But my thing is, if I'm using my resources to film this show, and let's tell the truth, a lot of the reasons anybody had an event was because we were filming. Outside of filming, y'all wouldn't have put up your own money to host any of this shit, would you?
Yeah, no, I don't. I I don't know. I can't speak for it, but I'm just saying. I'm saying no. A lot of them wouldn't have put up their own money, probably.
You feel me? It's for the film. It's for filming, for the show. So put away your personal bias and just say, we have two artists here. Let's go ahead and feature them. You can have the rest of your little Tyler, Texas people too. That's fine. But as we can see as the viewer, you wasted your time on this event because no one barely showed up. On top, and that's outside of the cast. All we saw was P Valley cheek clappers. That's all we had a chance to see, and it was looking plain Jane and boring. On top of that, you were looking like the fucking Joker with that powdered makeup on. That was weird to me. And then you're outside, your fucking monkey is sitting here running back to you to tell you what the rest of the group is saying, and it's just not this. We're at the end of the season. It was not given what it needed to give for like a almost close to a season finale event or episode.
Honestly, I had thought whenever they were planning it and everything, it had sounded like it was. People were telling me like it was a big extravagant event, and it just seemed like a chill little vibe. Whenever I don't know if they didn't film everybody there, but a lot of I don't know. I don't know. You
It
can't
was
trust it.
giving empty space. It was giving, like I said, P Valley cheek clappers. It wasn't giving like the ball. How did you get your return on investment? You said these girls are living off tips and people are paying, but like I'm not seeing it from a viewer though. Things could have been totally different. I can only judge from what I'm seeing, and what I saw was people that just were boring, and it just was not given what it needed to give. And we spent most of our time outside talking about some bullshit.
Yeah, I think he was upset about that too because he didn't expect to have that conversation out back at all.
Well, you know what? The camera followed the majority of the girls outside to talk about foolishness, but the cameras did not stay inside to finish filming what needed to be filmed.
The event, yes. And I think he lost a lot out on that. Like he should have cut that conversation out back short and been like, look, y'all, I don't care. Really, I honestly think he shouldn't have even confronted them about the information that Zesty brought back to him until after the event was done.
Let's
Then
wait.
yes, that way filming can get everything. Your event can go as planned. Because I think his event got cut short because of that scene. Because after that, nobody wanted to go back in. Everybody went home.
It was the same thing I felt about that prior season with Sean when he had his launch event for his spray. We focused more on what was going on outside with the drama than we did the event. Y'all got people spending their money on this stuff. We need to be filming the event, but I understand we want to go where the juice is.
Yeah. And
So I get,
the camera is going to follow the drama every time.
I get it. Do you agree? So obviously you don't agree with Zesty going back and running and telling.
I just feel like there's a time and place for everything. And if you're really, you should have let your friend have that moment. And even if you did hear something, it's like, okay, I'm gonna tell the bitch, but I'm gonna wait till his event is a success for number one, and everybody is gone. That way there ain't a confrontation and it makes his event look bad. Like, if it was my friend, I would have waited. I'd have been like, yeah, I got this tea, but I'm not going to let him know till after the event. That way, this event can go.
Or how about this? If this is your friend and you love them, speak up for them in their absence.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I, I just think like
Hey,
he could have checked Jeff himself about the whole thing, or he could have said something to the group outside of the Reckless Dolls event. He could have said something right then and there. It's not like Zesty needs backup. The bitch can fight. I think he doubts himself sometimes. But I'm like, girl, you definitely didn't need to go get Rio because you fight better than him. So you definitely didn't need to go inside and get Rio for nothing. You could have confronted them girls by yourself
mm,
and left Rio out of it, let him stay inside and do his CEO shit that he likes to do.
yeah, I agree. And I will say this because a lot of people say I'm biased, and I think our interaction today proves otherwise. I have to give it to Mother this episode. I definitely was agreeing with a lot of the way that she was checking these bitches because, like, I thought Mother was really gonna have to take off her veil and wrap it around Zesty's neck just to shut him up. Because, like, girl, like, what are you doing all this for?
A
Like, this
couple
is
of
why people don't
times.
like you.
It takes a lot to get Mother out of character, but I've been told once you get her there, it's like an ugly sight.
No, I can see that. And again,
Hmm.
I still want to say this too. If Mother would have never told me she lost her job, I would have never even thought because the way she's showing up this season, she ain't looking like a struggle.
Because Mother is a smart bitch, and when she had her job, she was putting all her coin to the side.
Amen.
She wasn't spending it and splurging like a lot of these girls like to do, living above their means and shit. And then come filming, they ain't got nothing to wear.
Exactly.
It's like, girl, no, we ain't doing that. Like, just tell your truth. If you're broke right now, it's cool. You'll come up eventually.
That's how it is.
Yeah, like you need to live in your truth right now, whatever it is. Like, stop trying to put on a show and then you are hurting in the back, like you
Hmm.
can't eat because you have to pay a $1,000 car note a month.
Oh, I also wanted to point out too. I have a small note here. I wanted to shout out Chloe for that scene too because she was definitely looking good. Y'all know I was coming for the girls in the beginning of the season. So as we see things change and progress, I will give props where props are due. Chloe was looking really good in this scene. Um, and I
She
guess the
was.
last scene is with you, Mother, and Chloe sitting down, catching up on the whole Rio situation.
Yeah, they wanted to know originally how that scene came about is because they were on my ass after like that night of Rio's party when I didn't show up. They were calling me nonstop, like, "What the fuck's going on?" Da, 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 da. Da." And I wasn't answering, but they were sending texts and calling and everything. Because I was just like, I don't feel like explaining to nobody why I wasn't comfortable to go to that event right now. I'll explain later. So basically, that day they had invited me out to this bread and coffee place, and I was like, "Okay, girl." It seems cute. And then yeah, whenever I got there, they had asked me about Rio. They originally said that they was gonna ask me about my next performance. But when I got there, it was all about Rio. So I'm like, but I had wanted to talk about that situation anyway, but let's just say like I was being censored. I can't give too much on that, but I couldn't speak on a lot of shit that I wanted to speak on at the time that post was made by Rio. But it did it I was like, I was flat. Let me tell you, when I seen that pop across my phone, when the powers that be sent me that post,
Mm,
like I was like, hold up. Cause bitch, how I instantly felt stupid for apologizing, first of all. Cause
mm,
I'm like, so I apologize just for y'all to turn around and make a mockery of me and my people, basically, essentially.
mm,
And I just was like, it just was very distasteful. I do not think Rio's a racist. I think genuinely Rio grew up around black people and that he does have, a little flavor to him or whatever. But I just feel like the statement was very distasteful and it could have came out a different way. If you wanted to unite the brown and the blacks, there was a different way to say it. You can never use that word in comparison to another race because that word holds a lot of weight and power to it.
mm.
And to me, it just was, even if you say it with the A at the end, if you don't have any black ancestry in your blood, you cannot say that word. I'm sorry. Like, you can't. Because that word holds a lot of power. The ancestors were called that for years, and not as a term of endearment. It was derogatory. So I feel like, if black people call each other that it doesn't make it okay, but it's acceptable because they're the ones who went through that struggle from with that word attached to it. So it's like we can use it. It's just like I feel like gay people can say faggot, but a straight person can't because we are the ones who went through that struggle. It's the same thing. It really don't have nothing to do with color. It has to do with culture. And so I'm like, it don't have to do with color. It has to do with culture. Rio, you grew up in Tyler, which is not a predominantly black place. So there's no way in fucking hell that you are this hood Mexican. We have came across like Cardi B, for example. She kind of gets the pass to use the word because she is a victim of her circumstances. She
Well,
grew
she's
up
also Dominican, and I don't think a lot of people understand Dominican Republic has a lot of
Afro
African.
Latina, right? Yeah, and you can kind of just see the features, of on Puerto Ricans and Dominican people, how they have some kind of African ancestry tied into their roots too.
They do.
But yeah, I'm like, but when you are Mexican, it's a complete. I know because my stepmom was from Veracruz, Mexico. So I know that culture is completely separate from Black culture. They
Mm.
don't even intertwine together at all, ever. So it's like, you can't use that word if you are Mexican because you don't correlate with
And
this
Mexicans are descendants of the Mayans and the
and
ancient
Aztecs.
Aztecs. Yeah, so they're
Yes, that's what I'm
a total
saying.
separate
They
situation.
might have been slaves, but they weren't slaves in this time that we were.
Right.
So we're not talking about that. And they weren't called the N word with the ER on the
Right.
end.
Right.
So it's like it's two different struggles, like I said in my green screens.
Yeah.
I don't mean to downplay Rio or whatever, make him look bad, but it's just like I have a responsibility to educate you, like you had a responsibility to educate me on the remarks I made about your community. And I took that into consideration and did a whole therapy course on it. So it's
Mm.
like you have to do better as a person, and you're making other Mexican people think that it's okay to say that word, and it's going to cause a big uproar in the world because there's a lot of Black people, especially in the South, that aren't going to be okay with you using that word. I'm telling you.
Do you think, and I understand there's a bunch of discourse surrounding this particular topic, and Lord knows I have bared witness to, been involved in many conversation pieces around this. I think that in a lot of ways, if we're not pushing and having these conversations, what are we really doing at the end of the day? So a part of me, the social justice person in me, says it's good to have these conversations,
Yeah, I think
especially.
so too. I think it's good to have these conversations because if you don't talk about it, then it stays brewing.
Do you feel like most people have felt that if, because the way that a lot of the racial divide conversations have been brought up, it's just not being executed the right way to
Yeah.
have an educational, like real conversation about it? Instead, all we've been hearing is the ignorant part of it all.
And I think it's because you're dealing with a bunch of people who aren't educated on racial stuff. And so we are just being put in a room together with no guidance on how to speak, or, everybody's speaking out of turn. People are saying stuff they heard their old heads say. The old heads are the most racist ones and
Mm.
prejudiced ones. So, we've all heard our grandma or grandpa say something about another race or, something. So, all of us are just coming from a place of really like discomfort, and we're speaking out of tone and out of character. And it's just the wrong atmosphere to even have these conversations in the first place. We need to have like a licensed person that should have been there while we had these conversations, or somebody that's an activist or something, like a Martin Luther
I
King
agree.
type of person or something. Like we needed somebody else there to have these conversations too. And I mean, even to educate both sides, like, us about Hispanic culture and then them about Black culture, because I think there is a lot of confusion on both.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Um,
But next episode, you will see. I don't get to say anything about it, but you'll just get to see what happens. Then the nail really gets put in the coffin with that situation. I'm happy because I mean, really, it's just kind of was just repetitive, this race shit. Even if it's them saying something or me saying something, it just was tiring. I'm just like, nobody really had, none of us, we all come from a new generation. So none of us are racist. So why are we spewing this bullshit? Mexicans are niggas too, or your people are getting deported. Really, we have no business even saying this because we are 90s kids and we grew up in a time where it wasn't segregated.
Now, I'm not going to lie to you, whether it's Mexican, black, or whatever. If I have a joke in me, it's gonna. I'm sorry, girl.
And that's me.
I'm gonna joke. I mean,
That's what I had to learn. Like, I have a very dark, crude sense of humor. I always have, like, like I've said a lot of outlandish things because I grew up watching a lot of stand-up comedy. And the Eddie Murphys, the Charlie Murphys, the Bernie Macs, the shit talkers, the
yeah,
ones who go there.
yeah.
Yeah, so
If
it's
there's
like,
because I'm from Florida and this is a big melting pot. And for years growing up, there were these moments where everyone's culture would joke and Jones on someone else's culture. Like for us, like I love my Haitian brothers and sisters, but we used to have this running joke growing up, girl, they eat cats. The same thing with the Asian community. Y'all eat dogs. Like we used to have these running jokes on like certain cultural references, and it might be a little dark humor in there, but like, girl, come on. Like, we all
we're
have.
just in a, we are in a sensitive era
Tell me
of
about
our lives right now, like where you can't say anything, like, or
you
you're
can't
gonna
do
offend
shit.
somebody. And I just had to learn, like, being like on this platform and having, I guess, a voice and a responsibility that I can't joke about stuff like that no more. Otherwise, I could like hinder myself in the future to also like. So I'm
Child, let
just
me tell you something. Even though I have not been an advocate for what you've been saying on this show like that, I'll say this. Look at who our president is.
yeah. And I said that too. I'm like, we were taught as kids, American kids, as in kindergarten, first grade, whatever our president says is what we're supposed to look up to. I'm not saying that that gives me any reason to say what I said, but it did come from that place because at the current
Well, no,
time,
I'm just saying though, like the hindering part, like if this man is a 37
oh yeah,
of felonies, girl, come on now.
oh
He's
yeah,
about to be impeached for another round of his presidency.
so you're
Like,
basically saying like there's nothing you can do to get you canceled.
come on now. I'm just saying though, at the end of the day, like I guess well, he has his white skin to protect him, I guess. So
I
that
just
does,
want support from the whole melting pot,
yeah.
like I want everyone's support, so I don't ever want to offend a community in
No, I hear
particular.
you.
And I do want to be sensitive to other races and what they're going through because I don't know what it's like. I only know what it's like to be black and be treated this way.
I hear
So
you.
I don't know what it's like to be another race. So I mean, yeah, the conversations definitely needed to be had. That's why, a couple times when production would tell me not to speak, trust me, they did not want me to bring any of this up. But I just felt like I had no choice but to bring it up because the people that I grew up looking up to, the big four, as I call them, but yeah, the people I looked up to, they would have never swept it under the rug. They would have went to the town hall and said it out loud for the whole town to hear.
We're at the end of the review, but just in closing, what do you expect from the reunion coming up?
I expect a bunch of chaos, honestly. Like, I mean, of course, there's going to be dialogue, but honestly, like, there's just so much going on behind the scenes right now we can't talk about because we have to save it for the reunion. But
Okay.
there's so much shit going on behind the scenes right now that, I mean, this reunion, this might be the first reunion they have to have security at. Like, really, like, they really have
It's
to have.
that bad?
I think so. I think there's that many beefs or disagreements between the group that it could potentially be the I mean, I'm not gonna say the worst reunion. It could be like bad in a good way, like the most dramatic reunion to date. I think it's gonna be like I think it's gonna be one for the books because there's just been a lot in the after shows that people want to talk about to each other, and there's been a lot after filming that people are gonna address, and it's just a lot. I thought I was the only one that had something to say, but come to find out, it's pretty much everybody that, has a bone to pick with somebody.
Now, the thing that's going to blow me away and what will have me read the entire reunion for filth is if we're having these conversations that took place outside of filming, because it's not going to make sense to us. So if we spend our whole reunion talking about things that happen to each other outside.
I don't think Markel's even gonna allow it. Like he's quick to shut down a conversation that's irrelevant. Like he's very let's stick on point and to the task. We're not doing all this extra shit. Like
Yeah.
so I think the girls can try, but if it wasn't a part of the show or the after shows or
Because
anything
that's
like
what it
that.
seems like based on what you were telling me is like a lot of the beef that we're going to be seeing and the needed security is going to be based in, because from if I'm looking at the season as a viewer, I don't really see much. It seems like y'all tied up pretty much some of the beefs and some of the drama.
It's just kind of like I would say like the after shows or like the things people have had to say about the other cast members after filming, like on the blogs, like, or, pretty much like on their after shows. I think a lot of people on the after shows rubbed a lot of the other cast members the wrong way on their commentary that they had to say about them.
I don't
And,
normally watch after shows, believe it
Mhm.
or not, because I like to, as a reviewer, I don't try to watch Facebook Lives, or I'll watch your interviews, and when you guys come up to other platforms, I will watch those. But like I try to kind of stay away from anything that's outside of the show because it can skew your perspective as a reviewer, because I have to judge what I'm seeing on the show itself. I can't like when I talked about Jeff's situation with him showing up to Rio's event, I kind of hate that yesterday I was made aware that y'all did chill. Because
Oh yeah.
now I got to talk, you know what I'm saying? Because how I feel in the moment of watching the show, I don't like that, because last episode they did whatever they did to you.
Yeah.
So, and it wasn't seen. So I don't want to have to skew
Trust me,
my
the rest
perspective.
of the cast was just as confused as you because we was like,
Yeah. Yeah,
what?
we need to,
Like I said, different cultures move differently. We would have never did that over here.
yeah, I hear you. I
We
agree
would have
with you.
never did that over here. We would have got some understanding on that camera as to why we're even back fucking with each other.
No, I hear you on that. I'm with you.
Because it just causes confusion like now, and now Jeff has to go on and explain to why he said what he said on Harviana's live. Oh,
Yeah.
that I feel sorry for her at the reunion. That's all I'm gonna say. And not only because of me, there's like a lot of people that want to say something to her. So I'm just like, I mean, at the reunion, I just know poor Jet is probably
But you
gonna
gotta think about it from a show perspective, though. Jeff is giving what's needed, honey. Like this
take.
is top tier girl shit. Like everyone
she
hates her because like
she better. I don't know what she gonna do at this reunion, but I'm just like, she got a lot to hash out. A lot.
child.
She's gonna be a busy bitch at that reunion.
I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
No, I'm here for it too. You know it's coming soon.
We need a little pick me up, so I'll be here for a little pick me up, honey.
No, for sure.
Is there anything else that you would like to say to the people while you are here today with us?
Well, I want to say I'm sorry for disrespecting you in the beginning and talking crazy about you. I should never get that emotionally involved in a review
Let me tell
because
you.
that's your job. So I just want to apologize in front of your viewers for that because you are a well respected voice in this industry. And I was told by a lot of people, higher up people, that you weren't this, you basically wasn't the beef that I wanted to do. Like, don't go there with her. Don't go there with her because you will not win. And she will drag you for mud as long as you are on chasing. So it's just like, you got to pick your battles wisely. And then I just realized that you really didn't say anything that didn't look true.
Okay, I respect that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I and I and I remember some people when you were on Harviana's live, and even Savion told you too towards the end of your interview with him that the way I come at things is a lot differently. Like
Hmm.
if you show that progression throughout, it don't matter if I didn't like you in the beginning. If there's that progression, I'm always going to give you your tens. I'm going to give you your things regardless of how I initially feel about certain stuff. I truly do judge what I see. And from what I've seen is you're one of the most, you, Chloe, and I know people hate to say you, Chloe, and Jet Jet are my big three. And
Okay.
one of the reasons you become one of my big three is because you genuinely showed your progression and your growth. You were not afraid to be vulnerable. You were not afraid to accept it. Even when you had the horse carriage ride with your boyfriend, the level of honesty and vulnerability and the willingness by having more information and by having another different perspective from someone else that you probably didn't think about, the way you're willing to come to the table and even being here with me today shows that as well, that you're not just stuck in one way of thinking. You are open-minded enough to
Hmm.
see other options and other perspectives.
Yes.
And I respect it about you. That's what makes a real person to me. That's what makes someone to be my big three. And you've definitely grown on me, and a lot of the people are loving you.
Thank
This is
you.
the longest live that I've done in a very long time. So I
Yeah.
appreciate you for spending it with me
You're
and
welcome.
giving up this live review, and also the little mini interview that we did in the beginning. I really do appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome so much, YB, and I'm support everything you do. I'm subscribed. My man subscribed. We both follow your page. So yeah, we're big fans too, and I can't wait to see who you interview next and what other topics you talk about next. Do some of them sex dungeon stories though.
Oh, I got you.
Do some more of those hot like T.S. Madison used to do. Remember, she would always give us a hot, steamy encounter story back in the
I
day.
have some on my platform. It used to be a segment I call Pleasure Points.
Uh-huh.
So, but now I'm going to be doing something different with Patreon. It's going to be called Late in the Midnight Hour. Where
I'm definitely gonna be subscribing, so drop the
yes,
links and everything.
thank you so much. I appreciate it. And again, thank you for doing this. I appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. I definitely wanted to come on this platform because you're one of the biggest ones out there.
Oh, thank you
So
so much.
I was like, yeah, and everybody says your opinion matters. So I'm like, I definitely wanted to link up with you.
I genuinely appreciate that. Thank you so much.
You're welcome,
I
and
look
I hope
forward, child. Feel free to come back anytime.
we maybe after the reunion, right?
Definitely, definitely.
Okay, let's plan on it.
Okay, okay. That's what's
Well,
up.
you enjoy the rest of your evening, and
You too.
I really
Thank,
enjoyed this.
thank you. Tell your man I'm sorry I kept you so long, child. I know y'all getting ready, honey, because you haven't got.
Nah.
It's been 3 hours and you ain't put one thing in your mouth other than something to drink. So what's going down after this?
Probably a lot. He been peeking in through that door every now and then, like, you still
You
ain't done?
ready?
Like, oh Lord. Luckily I dished earlier.
Oh yeah, glory to God. I know that's right.
You gotta stay ready, you know?
Yeah, amen. I know that's right. Fleet before you meet, honey.
Yeah.
I
But all right, I love you and you enjoy the rest of your night, and thank you to everybody who came out to watch this interview.
love you too. Thank you so much, Boo. You take care. You have a good night.
You too. Bye.
All right, y'all. That was really good. That was everything. Shout out to Glorilla, everything, everything. Shout out to Donny Moon. Once again, I appreciate you for joining me this evening. I appreciate you for being a real one. Being tempered and balanced in your way of thinking, your mindset, your energy was everything needed, required, and desired. I know that this pushed through 3 hours plus, honey. And I appreciate the consistency. I appreciate the open and honestness and the willingness. Amen. Again, you don't find that a lot. Okay. Now, I do want to let people know the only way I'm able to sit down with people is if there's understanding. There has been an understanding with me and Donny. As I explained in this interview / live review, we got to be willing to have a meeting point. And we also have to be willing to be vulnerable enough to say, you know what, and this is for me, tearing down what you thought, tearing down the preconceived notions, tearing away the shade and the drama of it all, and let's get to the real shit, okay? That's the only way you're able to ever have a successful meeting of the mind such as this tonight. Because I know a lot of people kept wondering, like, is this going to work out? Are these two going to be able to? We're able to. I saw it twice when he did Savion's interview and when he did Harviana's interview. I see the progression on the show and the willingness. That's what you call a real human being. And I'm a firm believer, like I said here tonight earlier, I'm a firm believer, like certain discourse and people that, you know, may not appear to get along, they need to be in the same space sometimes to have those conversations so that we can push forward. I truly feel, and I don't feel this way about many cast members that I've come across, I feel, just like a Markel, Trammell, there are a bunch of people that I know very well and I have friendships with and connections with that I didn't see it for in the beginning. I had full-on online beefs with. Okay? Shout out to Corday. It took many years, child. It took many moons for me and Corday and his eye to agree, hello God, to be mutual and respectful to one another. Amen? We grow, we become. In the words of Imani Van Zap, shout out to her. Hello God. All right. So again, I appreciate you guys for joining us here tonight. This was definitely everything needed, required, and desired. And Donny, let me tell you how important this was to me. And the cast and my people will let you know. I had an appointment at 9:30 with one of the biggest you see how big this is? This industrial can of life, girl. The reason I kept looking at my phone around 9:30 my time is because I kept having to do those missed calls, honey, and cancel the call. And this particular trade, he don't live nowhere near here. He be passing through because he's a truck driver, okay? I won't be able to see him again till next weekend. It is now 10:21 p.m. I am looking at a text right now cussing me the entire fuck out because I told him that I was dushed and dangerous and I'd be ready by 9:30. So Donny, I love you. Because normally, y'all know me, this would have been shut down, honey. Hello God. The meat comes first. Okay? Girl, y'all better tell her. This is what daddy's working with. And now I'm dushed and dangerous for no reason. So I sacrificed a lot for this interview. Yes, I'm not lying either. Okay? I'm not lying. Y'all see this? Yes, honey. Okay? Child, that's how you know I'm really here for y'all. I love y'all. Okay? Make sure y'all hit that like button when you come in the replay. And the girls that are here now. I deserve it because come on, all my bottoms in the building and my women in the building. Y'all turning this down? Y'all turning this down? Child, please. Some of y'all been and left y'all churn in the car just to go trick on trade real quick for this. I was a responsible adult tonight, honey. Okay? I'm just saying, though. Because I have no choice. I had to switch sides because I was playing top yesterday, but I was over because the bottoms were not bottoming, girl. Like, the bottoms don't be doing nothing they supposed to be doing, girl. I was over them bitches. Like, girl, I told y'all in the beginning, one had to get kicked out because he was trying to use up all my poppers. And, girl, towards the end, he was doing a pretty good job. But, like I said, the slightest inconvenience, girl. Slightest inconvenience. You got to get the hell up out of here. And this other guy, he just was like, I'm over it, girl. I think obviously I'm just over it. I think I've consumed too much. I think I've set the bar too high for what I seek when it comes to pleasure, honey. Okay, hello, God. And there's nobody here to match their energy. And who knows? Maybe there was a reason I missed out on this tonight. Because I ain't gonna lie, I did have 2 slices of pizza about 4 hours ago. I was hungry. But I am dushed and dangerous, but then now that I'm talking about it, my stomach has a little bubble in it. Hello, God. So, girl, I ain't got time for that. And something like this is definitely gonna, be like an exorcism, girl. And everything you had for the past 3 days is probably gonna come up. So maybe there's a reason I missed this old truck driving peen, honey, okay? And shout out to Donny, shout out to Bando, Kane, honey, he's in the building. He has a song coming out with King Op, Child, Hello God, with Donny Moon. So y'all be on the lookout for that, honey, okay? We're gonna have to get, it seems I have some research to do. I was looking in the chat earlier, and Bando, I might have to interview you, honey. I'm always on my Barbara Walters, honey, and I live for old nasty piece of trauma, honey. And not in a joking way, because I don't play with trauma, but, I have a personal connection to people who come through some things, honey. So I may have to put you on the docket and do a nasty piece of interview with you, Bando. Seems you have an interesting story that needs to be told. If you ever feel comfortable and you would like to, we communicate in the DMs, honey. So I'll definitely get with you on that. Church announcement. I said it earlier. I'm going to say it again to those who may not remember or just joining us. Next Sunday, season finale episode, live review with Markel Logan himself. Hello, God. 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right. If things change, I'll update you, but I don't expect them to. That will be our season finale. We'll have Markel herself. The questions we'll be questioning. Hello, God. We're going to get into the things of all those things, okay? And then we'll have the reunion. I'm going to be trying to put something together to do something special for the reunion. We'll see how that goes and make it happen accordingly, all right? I'm going to go ahead and get up out of here. I'm not even going to lie. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can convince the truck driver child to drive back. Because he is low-key obsessed, so we may get him to do a turnaround. Because he's been bugging me all week. He remind me of Norbit. You know how Norbit, Tuesday. It's Tuesday, Respucia. No, Sunday was my name. Huh? Sunday night. You cool for Sunday night, right? Sunday night. Yeah, bitch. That's one thing about me. I admire a thirsty man, but if it's too thirsty, I look at you like a pathetic dog. Girl, no. I might actually build up your excitement for the day and then cancel on you at the last minute. Just because, and I know that sounds so evil, but sometimes I can be an evil cunt. I'm just telling the truth. I don't like all that begging and chasing. No, I don't want your number, no. But I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes I have to put my own little confidence to the side, girl. Put shea butter on my knees. Girl, why? Why I gotta put shea butter on my knees? Girl, I got two comfortable pillows, girl, to put up under these knees, honey. Hello, God. And I'm getting too old for the knees, so I just sit in a chair and they stand up. I'm just going to tell the truth. I'm getting too old for the knees. Them bitches go to cracking when I get done, and I ain't got time for that. You old cracky knee, bitch. Anyway, y'all, I'm getting up out of here. I love you, and I appreciate you coming through and supporting the platform. Continue to like, comment, subscribe, and share all the things, okay? Tap that notification bell. That way you'll be updated each and every time I'm uploading something new. Be looking out for the next week live review. I will be posting that sometime this week. And, yeah, I appreciate it. And again, shout out to Donny. I appreciate you for joining me this evening. Thank you so much for giving all that you gave. It's definitely appreciated. And yeah, until next time, guys, be blessed and never stressed. Remember that health is truly wealth. And thank you. Bye.